Okay, cool. I got audio working. So, welcome everyone. This is League F, chesstick versus derpa, commentated by myself, jnails, and nasmith.
Howdy.
Hello. I think it's actually League E, yeah.
Yup, you are correct.
So yeah, we were just saying Enhance is pretty nice in the open with these shelters. Derpa having the nicer split, getting to top deck this treasurer. And yeah, this is really nice.
Yeah, I actually think they're playing pretty precisely here. I feel like if you haven't seen it already, the enhanced shelters thing is an easy thing to overlook. Like you might just sort of assume like, oh, enhanced doesn't work with the states, they don't work with shelters either. But Hovel's not technically a victory card, nor is Necropolis, so you can enhance those and frequently ought to in the opening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
interesting
I
to me
like
how
they've
much
played so
shelters affect stuff in Menagerie. Like, so many of the ways work crazily with Necropolis, and things like Enhance that don't work on estates work on 2 of the 3 shelters. I really like shelters with Menagerie cards.
It's also Animal Fair too.
Mm-hmm.
That's something else we were talking about a second ago. Is there's a lot of stuff that interacts here with like gaining golds. So you've got Courtier, which gains golds very easily, and then Enhance, which I think is something that makes me want to have golds in my deck more than usual, because a very easy way to get provinces very cheaply is to enhance golds into provinces. That being said, there's also treasure here, so if you enhance a gold into province during your buy phase, the opponent can snatch it back up with their treasure.
Yep.
So that might be something that's most desirable to do on like the final turn.
Mm-hmm.
So, how important are knights here?
I would think pretty significant. Like
Yeah, I think they matter, but I don't think they're like I don't think they should pile at least.
Well, Martin's the only plus buy, right?
Courtiers plus buy.
Courtier, okay.
To me, I think the significance is like Lost City looks good enough that you want to be building a bit. Like I would think a deck that plays with Lost Cities is better than one that just tries to like green quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Knights do decent work against an opponent who like plays with Lost Cities and then not Knights. They just lose all their cities after giving you the draw. And so I feel like there's this inevitable like you want the draw and then you want the Knights because it kills your opponent's draw. And then if you don't contest the Knights, you're left with like none of your Lost Cities.
I guess the way I would look at it is that all the knights have 3 types, except for Josephine has 4. And I think knights are better than swamp hags, so I always want at least 1 knight in my deck for courtier. But other than that, I'm not like too excited about knights.
Yeah, I'd agree. They definitely seem like the stronger attack against Swamp Hag, and I guess they are the best thing to use Courtier with. So
We're getting real fast. That's good.
yeah, they're moving. Okay, so they seal the Necro.
Here. So what do you think?
I was wondering if they were going to trash the Necro, but it looks like they want to keep it around to play a seal.
It's also their only multi-type right now. I would think that the card they most want to add right here is Courtier, and Necropolis would be the natural target for that.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, also with all these spare actions, I think Necro is kind of just a better card than Copper. Swamp Hag looks pretty suspect.
Yeah, I don't like that very much at all.
So let's get into that. Why do we dislike Swamp Hag here?
Curses don't seem to hurt a whole lot. You're already thin. You got Raise, which deals with curses pretty easily. Swamp Hag just kind of sucks. It's like a terminal gold that you get every other turn. Like that's really terrible unless the curses hurt, which they don't that much here. As far as attacks go, it's because of Knights.
You can potentially just play it. You can potentially just buy Enhance and not even have to take a curse too.
Also, I think a big issue is at the moment, I would think for both of them, the next thing to do with their decks is to get a second source of gains, so you don't want to be buying one thing per turn. And so if it's not Courtier, I think the only other thing on my radar would be Sir Martin, because it's a knight that happens to be +5, which is like honestly a pretty good knight to get here. And adding a Swamp Hag is adding payload to a deck that's already way overshooting 5. And that doesn't help you. Like having 11 money next turn is going to do literally nothing with a single buy.
I mean, there's like some thought that like, oh, Swamp Hag's a good courtier target, but like, is it really when you only see it every other turn?
And even so, if you're getting Swamp Hag for Courtier, I would lead with the Courtier, because it's at least doing something for you on the turn where you've only got one of them.
Right.
If you get the Swamp Hag first and then play it, the turn you get Courtier, the Swamp Hag will even be stuck out of play, and then you can't even use it as a target.
So chesstick even follows on the Swamp Hag. I'm always like kind of curious, like, was I wonder like if chesstick was like always planning on getting Swamp Hag or just kind of got baited into it.
Yeah.
I feel like the baiting effect is real in a lot of games. Like, you just assume your opponent knows what they're doing and then copy them, even when they're not. And you see mirrors more often than, like, would be rational, like, independent of that sort of effect.
It can be scary to diverge from your opponent a decent amount, especially if you think they might be a stronger player than you. You start to assume, well, they did this, so it must make some sense to do that.
Yeah, like, honestly, I get in that position sometimes where, like, I'm vacillating between two different things, like, say in the opening, and, like, I'm deciding poacher or silver, and then I see my opponent take poacher, and I could think, like, all right, I can sit here and decide whether, like, I'm smarter than my opponent, and I'm willing to, like, stake, like, I've made a better decision than you, or I can be lazy and just be like, you open poacher, I'll open poacher. I can't be worse because we did the same thing, and it's, like, the easy way out often, to copy your opponent, be like, same thing, no difference.
Yeah, I mean, I guess part of it too is like psychologically, like if you mirror and then you lose, you lost because of luck. But if you do something drastically different and then you lose, it's your fault for losing. And so, just from like a psychological damage control perspective, you'd rather mirror because the risk is less.
Yeah, that's another good reason. For me, it's not even so much the damage control thing, so much as just like mental work of like, they've done the thinking for me and they've concluded this is a good buy. I'll just trust them and buy it. I think that's also a value consideration that maybe applies to some people.
Yeah, I think I fall into the jnails' trap a lot of assuming like my opponent must know, like they must have a good reason to do that. So, I'll just copy it.
So here is chesstick. I'm probably thinking about enhancing the silver. I mean, the silver is not, I don't know, it's kind of a marginal card for the deck, but if getting rid of it means I don't have to take a curse, I'll pretty gladly do it over just buying a 5.
So enhancing a silver does mean the opponent can grab it with treasure.
Sure. Though it's pretty easy to get golds with courtier. So I don't think like a silver is super valuable when golds are so cheap.
Mm.
Derpa seems to have a pretty big lead. I think that's probably mostly a symptom of the opening at this point, because otherwise they've done very similar things, but Derpa had the nicer start.
Yeah. Yeah, getting to open with seal and treasure is really nice. So yeah, 2 types is not bad for Courtier, but we certainly could go up to 3 or 4 with some knights.
I would be thinking about Sir Martin right here, partly just because, like, if you trash both coppers, which seems reasonable, you'll have 9 left, and then that's Martin and some 5, maybe Lost City, maybe something else. But Martin just kind of feels natural.
I think I'd probably take key and buy like Lost City Courtier.
second core tier is not bad. I mean, you don't need Martin necessarily next turn because your Swamp Egg's coming out of play, and so you could always like wait another turn and then add a 3-type once you've played that Swamp Egg. That being said, if you're using the core tiers for plus buy, which they are here anyway, then Sir Martin ends up filling up a pretty similar function. I guess one risk is revealing a knight that maybe is potentially stronger. You could also reveal a knight that's weaker, I guess, which is argument in favor of it.
Yeah. There is some thought to like, I don't want to take 2 curses, so I'll enhance a copper or something.
Yeah, I was thinking about this, but I didn't see any good like enhance-ish line. Like I don't want to kill the raise. Nothing else looks like a good enhance target to me.
You could enhance a copper to a raise if you want a second raise. If you're eating 2 curses a turn later on, that might be useful to have 2 raises.
Yeah.
Certainly one curse seems like basically irrelevant because you've got to raise. A second curse hurts a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the first curse is still negative draw, but yeah, it's not super relevant.
My turn.
Yeah, they both have made the common mistake of accidentally top decking curses with seal.
Yeah.
Okay, there's Martin.
Yeah, I think this looks like pretty reasonable. Lost City and Sir Martin.
I like it. And Vander's definitely weaker than Martin here.
Yeah, you don't play the gold much.
I think we were miscounting because I think I said that you needed to take key and not trash a copper to have 10, but it looked like derpa had 10.
You know what I think we might not have factored in is playing Necropolis' seal.
Yeah, that gives you a coin.
That might
be the seal money. Yeah.
I can only remember that because tracker also gives you a coin, and seal is just tracker without the boon.
So derpa bottom decks the Swamp Hag. I don't think I'm willing to blow up this raise.
Well, you have Sir Martin. There's no. It's also a 3-type.
Right, but I mean, if you're willing to take Swamp Hag as like one of your first 5s, you're probably thinking it's really good to play. And...
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I
would think that like realistically, you shouldn't care at all about playing Swamp Hag. I wouldn't kill the raise for it because you're both killing the raise and functionally gaining a curse. I would think you just trash a curse and then play the other stuff here.
Yeah, trashing a curse definitely makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so we get to see the nice Cordia Martin, triple type.
I think you're taking everything but plus buy here so that you can actually no you can play the Necropolis as way of the seal anyway. You don't need the action.
Yeah, you don't need the action.
It doesn't particularly matter one way or the other.
You're gonna have plenty of buys this turn.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely like that curse trash.
Ooh,
good
Martin
hit.
looks like a 10 already.
Yeah, that is a nice hit. Which one do you trash? Treasurer, I assume?
I would think so, because that's chesstick's only plus buy right there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, I think, just looking like a pretty commanding lead for derpa. I think I'm pretty unenthused about getting a second knight if I'm derpa. Sir Vander feels like a sufficiently useless one to leave on top and make my opponent take, or else just leave me with like the 1 knight to 0 lead.
Yeah, I'd never take Sir Vander as derpa.
Okay, they do take a second raise, which I think will be useful since they're going to be buying 2 things while under Swamp Hag attack, so probably eating 1 to 2 curses a turn.
Yeah, I like this set of buys here.
I do too, yeah.
I'd say so far my impression is the Swamp Hags were a major blunder, but otherwise I feel like this has been pretty precise play from the both of them. If you just like abstract away the swamp hag, all the other decisions they're making, I think, make a fair amount of sense.
I agree with that.
I don't think there's anything you want to do here with 2 money.
Yeah,
mean,
I
you
don't
could
think you
consider
want
buying another
another
raise,
raise and a curse that
but-
comes with it.
Yeah, negative draw is just not worth it.
So chesstick stuck without plus buy here. Yeah, assemble me, I'm recording.
Hmm. Lost City here, maybe?
Do you take Vander just to get a knight?
Honestly,
Mm.
nothing is good for chesstick. Like I don't think there's a thing here that inspires me enough to not want to resign.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like Lost City the best, but or Resign would be totally fine there, too.
I don't know if I like blowing up that raise, but
Um,
I suppose you have another one.
yeah, and I mean, it did. You know, this is going to be a significantly more productive. Well, is it? Wait, no, it's not. This turn is literally doing the exact same thing it would have done if
Yeah.
Derpa didn't blow up the raise. Oh, blows up. Oh, no, trashes the necro. Eh.
I don't think I like that all that much. Maybe it's fine.
Well, I guess you get to gain and play a gold and, like, also play your treasurer, but. Eh. I would have just trashed the curse.
Derpa does seem quite ahead.
Yeah, like utterly winning, I would say. I think it's kind of snowballing at this point.
Yeah.
Now it's just a matter of seeing how much wherewithal chesstick has to go on.
Yeah, I mean, probably the biggest problem for chesstick is they still have 4 coppers and Derpa has 0. And that's kind of just a function of Derpa getting to open treasurer.
Yeah.
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 Getting to kill a silver and then pick it up with treasure is just kind of a insult to injury.
Yeah,
I
I'm
wouldn't even play the
assuming.
silver. I would enhance the silver.
Yeah, I was thinking of turning it into something.
Yeah, I agree with that. And chesstick can't even get it back because their treasurer got trashed.
Yeah, they can enhance treasures pretty freely since they don't have to worry about them getting picked up from the trash until chesstick gets another treasure, if they get another treasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that even you want super many treasures here. Like draw is relatively limited, so you like at some point you don't even take free golds from Courtier, I think. Otherwise you lose deck control.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the game's kind of over before that happens.
The game's kind of over like 5 turns ago.
Well, sure.
Is treasure better than Courtier here? Do you mean like right now as a buy, or just like in general as a card?
I think they're both pretty important cards to getting the build to work. Okay, right now?
Well,
Another treasurer. Chesstick could strongly consider getting a treasurer back.
yeah, these 4 coppers are definitely not doing chesstick any favors. But
62 in Lost Cities right now. Pretty sure it is.
Yep. So yeah, having 4 more lost cities and 4 fewer coppers is usually a recipe for success.
And 1 more knight and 1 more treasurer and 3 more gold and another silver. One less necropolis.
Man, the second swamp hag, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that way the swamp hag attack never ends.
Oh,
The
yeah.
second swamp hag does not look any better than the first.
That's
The
that's the
duration
best
asymmetry derpa
feeling.
god is just going to be devastating for their deck.
That's the best way to win is you make a mistake and then your opponent copies your mistake, but they commit to it even harder than you did. And then
Yeah, this is like a 200 level IQ play, is getting the swamp hag first to get your opponent to get 2 of them, and then you back off and leave them with the 2 swamp hags.
right.
Derpa's
Yeah.
playing like 40 chess here.
That's some serious metagaming. You're really conditioning your opponents there. It's not that hag is necessarily like a bad card. I think it's just a lot weaker than knights here.
And Lost City and Courtier and Treasurer. It's
Yeah.
better than Mandarin though. I'll give it that. And better than Count.
Yeah, I mean the main thing is just that it's pretty easy to get rid of the curses with raise, and so like like lost cities and courtiers and like knights are just kind of doing more. So chesstick is still a little ways away from piling out here.
Chesstick's a little ways away from doing anything.
You mean derpas?
Derpa, yeah. Yeah, he's gonna have like what 5 buys, so you're like 1 short of the raise pile. Yeah, I don't like blowing that raise up. I would have just trashed 2 curses there. I guess this is something nice about having Martin is like being able to pile out later. Like you just have way more buys than your opponent.
That is true. Now, I wouldn't have guessed this game would end on piles, but that's also because I wouldn't have guessed that anyone would be taking curses here.
Yeah, I think if nobody buys Swamp Hag, the game ends on provinces.
Yeah, it feels like a kingdom where putting away provinces pretty fast is pretty easy.
I also didn't see that chesstick wouldn't resign. I think in chesstick's position I would have resigned a couple turns ago.
Yeah, I would have definitely resigned by now. I don't know if... Do we want all these golds?
It's starting to seem like it's a bit too much gold. You're not really drawing all of them.
I do remember a few minutes ago someone was saying, like, there's too much golds. And then there were naysayers who called that into question.
Okay.
That fellow was onto something, I think.
Guess you can just start enhancing these golds. You have plenty, and they don't have a treasurer.
Yeah. I honestly just kind of want to like enhance these curses into raise and buy like a province or 2. Just be like, this game is over. I'm ending it here. Like, I'm not sure that's max.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you could honestly just buy 4 enhances here, turn 2 golds into 2 provinces and 2 curses into 2 raises.
Yeah, like I think that's the play that's just like, I know I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win this game as fast as I can and save us both some time.
Yeah, like that's totally winning.
They're doing it.
Looks like they are on the same wavelength as you.
Yeah. Derpa is saying, get out of my game. This is over.
Yeah. I guess you could even buy another. I mean, it's not like it's dangerous to buy another raise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just make it very clear you intend to win next turn.
It's like I'm gonna leave 3 raises and nothing else left in the pile to do something about it.
Yeah, I mean, chesstick's deck is so bad. Like against that, like chesstick couldn't even lose.
Yeah.
Like literally only has 2 buys.
So I assume it's chesstick. If you're not resigning here, you're trying to get. Can you even get 2 provinces? I don't think you can do 2 provinces. You can with a hand.
No, definitely cannot.
You can do
You can get one province.
province and a duchy.
Mm,
Doesn't even get you the points lead.
Yeah, I don't see any way to take a
Yeah.
points lead here.
So yeah, I've got to assume derpa. Well, I guess it's just a matter of finding the Sir Martin.
Helpful swamp hag from the opponent, making it easier to pile out here.
Oh yeah. Fitting in.
I really like when swamp hags are in play and you're looking for a pile out because it makes the curse pile out like so much easier. It just takes like 5 buys.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yes, this is easily winning.
Yep, blow up some raises, find all your cards, do the thing.
Yeah, they didn't even need to find the 5th buy because 4 will cover it with the swamp hag gaining the 5th curse.
Yeah.
But now they certainly have it.
Yeah.
Okay, so first game goes to derpa. Not really misplayed by chesstick, like in a huge way. They made some small mistakes. Just there's a very mirrored game. Derpa had the better split, and chesstick deciding to go for a second swamp hag instead of a knight just really exploded.
Yeah. Now, important question here. Is it like a portmanteau of chess and stick? Is it a chess hick? Maybe it's Shay's stick, like Che Guevara had a stick.
We'll have to ask them in the player interviews afterwards.
Or maybe it's a snake.
Oh man.
Yes.
So we got a double traveler proc governor triumph board.
Whoa.
This looks absurd.
Ironworks also looks really, really good.
Oh my lord.
Um,
Oh my
This
lord.
board looks so cool. I wish I rolled boards like this every time.
so Paige looks like flaming hot garbage.
What about Treasure Hunter Triumph?
Okay.
Good point. You can take like 40 silvers after your opponent triumph.
If I'm not satisfied with the 100 points I'm getting from Proc Ironworks Triumph, then
Hasn't Goatherd is my first intuition here.
yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
And then probably buying a bunch of border guards in the near future and like a 2nd or 3rd peasant.
So are we just skipping page?
What
Yeah,
is
I can't
Paige doing for
imagine
you?
wanting Paige here.
There's
I
almost
mean,
nothing
maybe the
criminal.
Treasure Hunter Triumph thing comes up in the late game, but I kind of doubt it.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
so
there is enough of
sketchy
really-
because you need your opponent to have taken a large number of cards, but also left you some estates.
I think it's safe to say your opponent has probably taken a decently large number of cards on most late game turns here, but it feels like you're just getting enough gains off of like proc Ironworks type stuff that the issue isn't really the amount of points you're getting from Triumph, it's just like who sets up that turn first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, kind of like the name of the game on a board like this is just who can empty the estate pile first. Because once you do that, you just kind of have an insurmountable points lead.
Yeah. It does seem like a fair board to think a bit about in the opening.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I could see like Peasant Ironworks being reasonable too.
That's
although
what I was
think
gravitating towards.
I was thinking about that, but like, what are the cards that are high enough priority to gain in the opening? Are you just gaining more Ironworks for the anticipation of doing the thing later?
I mean, I'm
That's
probably using
true.
Ironworks to snap up some goat herds on my first shuffle if I go for that.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the stuff I want to spam here is cheap enough that like the plus buy from Peasant is already kind of serving the same function. Like you buy 2 border guards instead of Ironworks thing a thing and buying a border guard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Goatherd's also gonna get like ridiculously good here, I think, in the near future.
Oh, with proc chains, I mean,
Oh.
goat herd might draw 20 cards.
Yeah, who needs governor? Well, I guess you get governors because of procking ironworks, but maybe you're not that happy about it.
I mean, the governor remodel will still be
Yeah.
great. Like if you just accept that your opponent's going to draw their deck and just like give up on trying to deny them goat herds, and then all of a sudden there's a whole war of opportunities of gain in play.
Governor looks
Um,
perfectly fine to me on this board. It does a lot of things that work well with Triumph.
so the reason to
Silver.
skip page is just that it doesn't. Oh yeah, that's weird. Like page just doesn't really accomplish anything on this board. Like you really don't want the treasures, and like champion doesn't really do anything because there just aren't that many terminals.
If I had to make an
I
argument
mean, like,
for page, I would think it's like I want a warrior. I'll just like leave it at warrior because a lot of stuff here is in the warrior like zone. Even then, like the problem is like the things you like if you hit two, often you might just like buy a page because nothing else costs two. But here you've got some phenomenal things that are also at the same price point.
Yeah.
right.
And like even if like warrior is better than nothing and worth taking a silver or two for, I'm not sure it's worth passing up like a border guard or a peasant for.
Yeah. So I really don't like either of these opens. Chesstick goes for peasant silver, and then derpa goes for peasant page.
Agreed.
Like the silver, it's like, what's the silver doing? Like helping you hit 4 for an ironworks? Like,
The
eh.
silver suggests to me they really wanted governor, which they did end up taking. I don't think getting an early governor is that important here. Like, it kind of helps accelerate your deck a bit, but like only in the sense that like a laboratory does.
Yeah, I mean the draw is okay, but it's not good enough to justify opening silver. Like I
Yeah,
think if I
the governor's one draw is only basically breaking even with the silver you just put in your deck.
true.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I think if I just like randomly drew a 5 copper hand, I would strongly be considering governor, but yeah, it's not like, oh, I need this card in my deck.
Yeah. Like I would click on governor without much hesitation with 5 coppers. Like the draw is better than nothing, but it's not put a silver on my deck for.
Right.
Governor looks like the best 5 cost on the board, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Capital actually I think could see a whole lot of utility here on like the final turn and even the penultimate turn because capital is phenomenal with triumph. Very easy way to like put a bunch of money and buys in your deck
Mm-hmm.
so you can afford all the estates.
Yep.
If most of your other gains are not like money and buys.
Yeah, I was saying pretty much every card here works with Triumph in one way or another.
Oh man, Horde Triumph.
Hey, alright,
Okay.
it's a thing. It's not a good thing, but
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of synergistic, but yeah, it's obviously a lot worse than all the other craziness going on this board.
Walled Village Triumph.
yeah, that's the one card that doesn't really gain other cards. I mean, Border Guard doesn't either, but it's just Border Guard, so it doesn't need to.
Hey, even Walled Village is a proc target, I guess. So.
Yeah.
Goat Herd doesn't gain cards either, but yeah.
Yes. Also true.
I think what seems reasonably likely to happen here is these goat herds. I feel like there's a realistic risk that if you do the things you want to do, your opponent's goat herds get like super strong. And then just like imagine a deck that's got like 3 goat herds where you play one and you like draw your deck madman style. Then you like remodel like 3 things into like 3 more procs and governors, and you like proc that and redraw it all with goat herd, and you like proc that and you like redraw it all, and you like remodel the silvers into capital. Like I could easily see like one turn where you trash 3 things, causing your opponent to like go from 0 to 100 in like a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
That is kind of scary, yeah.
It's a very dynamic board.
Yeah. Like I feel like I want
Just-
like latent goat herds in my deck. I think like if I have multiple goat herds, I'm just threatening like enormous amounts of gain and play stuff the moment they trash multiple cards.
It wasn't so obvious that Chesstick should have played this Border Guard.
It does
The
trigger a
soldier.
shuffle. Is this the most advanced traveler?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Or actually, I don't know for sure that they might have another soldier. I'm not sure about that.
Having another soldier would not make me want to trigger the shuffle anymore. Having a fugitive down there would. Derpa has the fugitive, so
Looks
yeah.
like
This is a
chesstick
message.
only has the one soldier.
Sorry, who has the one soldier?
I think chesstick only has the one soldier.
So does Derpa have 2 soldiers and a fugitive? To chestick's 1 soldier.
Oh wow.
That governor sure has not done a lot to exploit their deck. How did this happen? Did they pound deck it?
Derpa does have a fugitive.
Well, I mean, I think they use the governor for like remodel and not draw. And I mean,
Oh no,
obviously they
chesstick
open
has 2
silver.
soldiers. Chesstick has 2 soldiers.
Oh.
Ew.
Okay.
I feel like using governor for remodel here just seems really bad.
Yeah, I mean, just like trashing with goat herd makes more sense.
Yeah. I mean, not to say there won't be a scenario in a few turns where governor remodel starts to look really nice, like when you can gain and play it. But that early in the game, you basically spent like a $5 buy and then a slot in your deck to like allow you to both trash a thing. Like the opponent trashing Overgrown Estate is about as good as you turning a copper into a border guard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's better.
Yeah, so the governor I think is very much going to waste, which means by extension those silvers look really wasteful. I think that's where chesstick's fallen behind.
So they just ironworks for a walled village. That do you really need the village effect? I kind of want a proc or another ironworks more.
Well, let's count all the terminals in their deck. All right, I think we finished with that.
Yeah, I think they literally don't have any, right?
They have
Pretty the left
now
side
that they don't have any soldiers, I'm not sure they have any. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think chesstick's first governor play, like chestick turned a copper into a border guard, and then derpa turned an OE into a page. I mean, the page should have been a border guard, but like, yeah, like that's helping derpa more than it's helping chestick. So, yeah, early governors are not good.
I mean, early governor here I'd say is like a laboratory, and that's like a fine thing to have. Early governor remodeling is really, really not good.
This is just such a cool board. I would love to see this board get played at like top level. It's just such an interesting board.
I would really want to play this board versus like some random person on the ladder, honestly, because I feel like in like a very competitive game, what's gonna happen is you're gonna scramble to do the triumph thing, and then you're buying them 1 or 2 at a time just because you like really need to make sure you get the points, and the game's gonna end really soon. If you match versus like a level 40 or something here, I'm building to the like pile out silvers with treasure hunter and take 400 points thing. Yeah, derpa I think is very far ahead here. I think this time more so than last time it's actually due to differences in play choices and not just the early draws. But yeah, this is already looking close to resignable, just seeing derpa's starting hand at the top of this shuffle.
Yeah, although, you disciple that treasure hunter, that's a lot of gains for triumph.
yeah, that's what I was suggesting, is like seeing your disciple your treasure hunter at the top of the shuffle is just like devastating. You can get so many silvers here.
Gets a gain a second treasure hunter too.
Oh, that's the dream.
Yeah. Can't have too many treasure hunters in this deck. I sure hope we don't see teacher here.
Yeah,
I can't imagine. Well, I mean, it certainly could happen, but it seems like disciple is just even more amazing than it usually is here.
I mean, I'd kind of be surprised if we don't see teacher, but or like not that it's good. I mean, it's really bad, but like I don't know. People take teacher a lot.
The thing that worries me is gaining a walled village. Like, if you think about why one might do that with 0 terminals in their deck, it might be like a very long-term vision of like, I'm going to pick up like a big stack of cantrips, so I have more teacher targets and that sort of thing. I think that's obviously very misguided because this is not a long-term sort of kingdom. But the walled village, I think, is like a worrisome harbinger of teachers to come.
I mean, even
There we go.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, the thing you would teacher wouldn't be the walled village. It would be like border guard probably. But
It's
yeah,
the only
definitely
card
don't
you have
like a
enough of.
teacher.
Well, I'm not saying the walled village is a good choice. I'm saying it's a choice that one would make if one were thinking about teacher. The fact that you already have a stack of cantrips is an additional reason to think that's a really bad idea, because like you have to think you're gonna like have like 4 turns with your teacher before having a second stack of cantrips face off.
Yeah. I'm just hoping that we're at least like we at least will see like triumph. Like I'm gonna be very, very psychologically hurt if I start seeing gold gains and remodeling into provinces.
I predict that one of the players will triumph. It's possible the game ends in a tie, though.
That's high. Kind of crazy.
Do you even want to play this treasure hunter? I feel like you might just want to remodel the treasure hunter into a governor. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what I would do if given Derpa's deck right now. Is I want to turn that treasure hunter into a governor.
I think I agree. Although, yeah, I mean, it's kind of
How many silvers?
if you're doing that, you're kind of admitting that the page was silly.
Maybe that was the play this whole time. So they would take 3 silvers, which is that's too many silvers.
Yes, assemble me. I think you very much do want to be doing proc ironwork stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think you would add the proc like pretty late, so I don't think. I mean, I feel like they probably should have proc by now, but like, not like still haven't gotten it like a turn or 2 ago.
One real risk, to be fair, with proc is like if you see your opponent add procs early, you can start putting more goat herds in your deck, and all of a sudden those procs look a lot worse.
That's true. Yeah. I'm a little confused. Like, they both only have 1 goat herd. I feel like I would have wanted more.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I was saying earlier, I feel like just like having goat herds in your deck is just like an implicit threat of just like you're not allowed to trash too many things, or my deck's gonna explode.
Warrior is kind of cool here in the double traveler thing because, I mean, this is probably extremely obvious, but just occurred to me. The travelers in the other line also count for warrior. Although that warrior somehow manages to not trash anything.
The first time a second ago with you saying it. I'm gonna pretend like I knew that all along.
Yeah, although it flipped 4 cards and didn't trash anything, so.
I had no idea
that
peasant line cards triggered warrior. Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, I learned that like only pretty recently.
Yeah, warrior does also count for soldier, but in less of a cool interaction.
Can probably gain and play a proc here with like ironworks for proc, and then to proc and ironworks.
So there's 2 coppers down there. Is the best play here take a proc and draw it? You're drawing your opponent a card. I guess what else you're doing?
What else is there?
It'd be really nice.
I mean, you could still
slightly more draw here. This feels like so close to doing like nice gain and play things, and just like also slightly far away.
So if we like ironworks for proc draw, proc the ironworks into 2 ironworks and then governor and buy governor, maybe. Then we can like go off next turn, I think.
Yeah, I think that's enough draw that you can really start abusing some of that gain in play.
It's a
I'd also
little
not play
awkward
the
to like.
Treasure Hunter.
Yeah, definitely do not play the treasure hunter. Yeah, that's correct. Simple me.
Not in this kingdom.
Well, yeah, I guess if you had a way to like play a warrior on your opponent's turn, then I think it would count. Right?
I think
Yeah,
that does.
I
Yeah.
guess. Outside of some weird edge cases, yeah, I don't think it's a thing.
Plus 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just like if you play a warrior on their turn, they are actually trashing their own cards, and it all checks out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, the only edge case for that is like Way of the Mouse Vassal, right? Is there anything else?
Way of the Mouse, Black Market Capitalism Scepter. You can get. Or does that
You
work?
don't even need
There's definitely
Scepter.
other lines besides Way of the Mouse Vassal that achieve the same effect. I forget what the other ones are. Way of the Mouse Vassal is just a simple one.
Way of the Mouse, black market capitalism
Oh,
lets
it's
you do
Conclave.
stuff.
It's Conclave, I think, is the one that's significant, right? That I'm missing.
Conclave can't be mouse.
No, it's Black Market Capitalism into Conclave.
Okay,
It's just like
sure.
a very fancy way to get the same vassal effect.
Sure. It's kind of funny in that scenario. It's actually whether your opponent bought capitalism that matters, right?
Isn't it?
So it's like you don't even have to have bought capitalism to use that.
Oh yeah, we like to be edgy here.
Yeah, honestly, if you want to derail any discussion, just put the word always or never into any sentence. Or the word strictly, and then the next like 10 minutes is totally shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Way of the Mouse definitely expanding. Oh God, the realm of the possible in Dominion. This gold gain is hurting my eyes.
Gaining a gold with Governor just seems so incredibly terrible in this kingdom. Like, silver is just a better
Yeah.
card than gold by a long shot. It is a thing that you can turn into things of value, whereas gold.
Right. Is there a chance gold is like literally the worst card in this entire kingdom, even ignoring cost?
I could be
think
sold
that's
on
true.
that proposition. I'm not usually one to denigrate gold like that, but you have a compelling argument.
Is it a better card than Curse?
Curse is an easy way to buff your Triumph with extra buys.
I mean, well, no, I just mean like as a card in your deck, like not
Against an opponent using Governor Remodel, Curse and Gold both can't get turned into anything.
right. I mean, you can remodel curses into 2s though, which is kind of seems
True.
more useful than turning it into provinces.
Yep.
So, I mean, Horde actually could buff Triumph, maybe.
Actually, pretty bad.
So yeah, I kind of think gold is ignoring cost the worst card in this kingdom for your deck.
It's definitely in contention. I think Duchy might give it a run for its money. What the hell are you doing with a Duchy in your deck?
Turning
Yeah,
it into
that's
hordes
true.
on your opponent's governors.
Yeah, Duchy's pretty bad too. I don't know. I mean, whatever. In any case, you should never be governoring for golds here.
Yeah, Governor is just a draw card here until like the last turn or two, and then all of a sudden it's like a phenomenal spinning thing.
Yeah.
Chesstick.
How many?
What were you gonna say, Nas?
Oh, I was wondering how many cards that goat herd would have drawn.
Let's find out.
I think just one.
I think that is correct.
Yeah. So surely you take governor here, and then you
Yeah,
disciple
looks
it.
like just one.
Now you gotta play your teacher. You disciple the teacher and get 2 of the tokens.
Oh yeah, and another teacher.
Yeah. Teacher's great. It's a nice remodeled target.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
That's
costs
not even a
6.
good thing in this kingdom, to be honest. We're just shitting on how terrible gold is.
yeah.
Not
Well, yeah,
sure how
that's
it is to turn it into a province.
right. I mean, yeah, province is just useless here. I mean, triumph is just so many more points.
This deck still feels not very trash. What turn are we on? Let's turn 10. I guess that's not the worst. They got a decent sifting, so it makes some sense maybe that they have some junk in there as well.
Yeah, I mean, being well trashed isn't like super important, but I think Goatherd is just a good enough card that you kind of want more of them, and then as a result, you get pretty clean.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So they just went copper to peasant.
Don't like that.
Feels a little late to be adding more peasants. I'm not sure you're going to get them up to where you need. Although they are plus
It
buy,
feels
which
like
you do really need, so maybe
a
it's
little
fine.
never a good idea to be doing the remodel junk because your opponent gets to do it too.
Hmm.
Entirely self-defeating. It's like opening bishop, basically. This governor is like a non-terminal bishop, the way they're using it. And in case it wasn't clearly implied, obviously opening bishop is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I would have put no, not the necropolis. I would have put the Overgrown Estate in my hand because you're going to trash something. Maybe this peasant is important to play. I'm not sure.
Yeah, taking OE does make sense there.
Proc?
Proc at 10.
It might still be a turn early for proc. Like the risk of buffing Goatherds is not insignificant.
Who has 2 goat herds?
I don't think
Derpa?
I'd take proc here. I think I'd rather gain and play the proc.
I think the Ironworks is pretty reasonable.
Yeah, like you just take more Ironworks now, and then you can like gain and play the proc. I want to take more goat herd here. Maybe even 2 goat herds.
Over like Ironworks goat herd?
Those would be the 2 options that I'm looking at.
I would be thinking goat herd or proc goat herd with the intent to like I would take the procession if I thought there was a real risk we could pile out next turn, and I think there is. Like with overdraw from like a decent goat herd play, you can easily empty Ironworks auto piling, and probably the same with governors.
Yeah, I mean, you could honestly, I could see like Derpa 4 piling next turn.
Next turn being this one that's about to happen.
Yeah, like Ironworks, proc, governor.
How
Maybe
many things
4
are trash? I think
piles.
that will be a relevant consideration. Oh goodness, 3 cards have been trashed. That's a pretty big number.
3. So, chesstick trashed 1 copper with governor, 1 copper with goat herd, and then what's the third one?
Did I miscount?
Uh,
There's 2 coppers with governor. Oh, never mind. I'm misreading. I'm misreading. You're right. You're right. That third trash was their opponent.
Okay. Okay, so it's just 2. How many disciples we have? So Derpa has like, wait, 2 disciples?
Believe Derpa has 2.
Yeah.
Because we just saw chesstick's deck and they have 1. And they have a disciple and a teacher. There's 3 disciples gone, so Derpa should have 2.
Yeah, with 2 disciples, it seems like Derpa should definitely be able to win this turn.
Yeah, I was about to say I would not trash that copper. I think you're looking to end the game here, and so there's just no point in. Not that you need the money all that much, but.
Why are we holding hero instead of fugitive?
That's a very good question, to which I do not have a good answer.
Yeah, nor do I.
Governor with your disciple, and that is becoming an increasingly precarious proposition. Yeah, they both are.
Okay. Uh, hmm.
Draw and draw.
Yep. I love to see it when somebody takes a bad teacher and then they lose the game before they get to call it. It's just
I
like,
agree wholeheartedly. So you play the border guard, you take the disciple, and I think you play both of these ironworks first to put the I don't like this feature display. You've now missed the disciple. What are they doing?
Guess they want to get capital into the shuffle.
this
It's
is
not
looking pretty sketch. Yeah.
important to do that, I don't think. Now play this is easily a win, I think. Just ironworks for ironworks twice here, and then disciple the governor. And I feel like that just concerns their pile.
Are we gonna see no procs taken?
I think taking a proc here is a pretty good way to take that last governor. Um, I'm not sure if it's better than just like remodeling the treasure hunter or even the silver. I think it should be pretty easy to pile here, though.
There are a lot of ways to win. I mean, I think like Ironworks for proc is probably like, I don't know, wins by more, I guess, if that makes any sense. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think I kind of agree with Sycomatic. I mean, it's the kind of thing where like people do something that's bad and then, you know, people kind of express that in sometimes exaggerated ways.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I was learning sort of more advanced tactics, I kept hearing all these good players say, like, teacher's garbage, disciple's the best. And so I would just never take teacher. And that's obviously not actually what you want to do. Sometimes you
Right.
do, in fact, want to play with teacher.
Yeah, so they're
Obviously.
well beyond repiling here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably right that they could have four piled here if they tried.
Yeah, I think you could have piled procs too. Yeah, there are definitely a lot of boards I think where like it's an interesting decision of whether to get teacher.
I feel like when I'm on the fence, I more often regret taking teacher than not. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is just to have like a good like understanding of like how many more turns are left in this game. I feel like yeah, most of my like bad decisions about that in both directions like stem from kind of poorly judging how much longer is left in the game.
Teacher is the card you take if you're a dreamer. Like you've got ambitions. You're like, I'm gonna build this huge deck, and I'm gonna have like plus card on Magpie and plus action on Torture. I'm gonna do like a million things. And then Disciple is the card you take if you're just like a grizzled pessimist who's just like, this game's gonna pre-pile before I can do anything of value. I want to play the fun deck, but there's just no time.
I mean, I don't know. You can play pretty big. Like you can build. Like there are a lot of big decks where peasant, like the effect of disciple is just stronger than the effect of teacher.
So you speculated on chesstick's name. What about derpa?
Uh,
derpa sounds like the Mount Everest guide who failed and gets made fun of by the rest of the Sherpas.
Oh yeah, go climbing with derpa over there.
That's all I got. I really have no idea what it might mean otherwise.
Kind of sounds like a Pokemon to me.
I caught a derpa.
Yeah, exactly. That evolves
Honestly,
into derpa.
chesstick could be a Pokemon to me too. What does derpa evolve into?
Derpotomy.
I couldn't believe that. Like if you gave me a list of real Pokemon and then put derpa and derpotomy in there, I'm anything but certain I could have told you that those were not Pokemon names.
This is a nice board.
Triumphal Arch is really nice with Paddock. Paddock is like a self-triumphal arch point gainer because it also gives you horses.
That is nice, yeah.
Paddock is just such a nice, well-rounded card. It's just like a very fun card to play with. It didn't jump out at me from Menagerie. Like, if you asked me early on into Menagerie, like, what's stronger, Paddock or Livery? It would have been like Livery, of course. Gains you 1,000,000 horses. But, you know, Paddock is it's just very solid all around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paddock and the oh man. Proc horse.
Then I would have been really sad if no one got proc.
Yeah. I'm a little curious, like, as a puzzle, just like take Derpa's last turn and like what's the maximum number of points you can score? Like, I feel like my over under guess would be like 200. I'm not sure.
Do you have to also pile?
Yeah, you also have to win. Yeah.
Ooh, that makes it a little harder. Because yeah, like if you're free to take a bunch of plus buy, then you can hit huge numbers there.
Sure. I mean, I feel like I don't feel like winning is that much of a consideration. Like, I feel like you're always going to pile Governors and Ironworks. But... So what are we opening here?
Good question.
Pixie Dungeon?
I like that. I feel like a dungeon here looks really good because you want to play your goat often. Could be dungeon silver, dungeon pixie.
I was thinking about Silver Pixie, but Dungeon's also kind of attractive. Yeah, I'm generally like not so sure about opens on these Pixie boards because it's like you can do something like Pixie Silver, which guarantees 5, or it's like, do you do something that kind of like shuffles faster, but then like waits another shuffle to get a 5 cost?
I think the first 5 we're clicking on here is Paddock.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Okay, so chesstick does go with the Pixie Dungeon. Sounds like a good band name.
Seems to work out pretty well too. Well, it only hits 5 if you like draw a 5 copper hand.
Or with like any number of boons, forest,
Sure.
field,
True.
sea, maybe river if you see it turn 3.
Well, river turn 3, it's like it's turn 4, but you're still shuffled.
It gets you 5 within either turn 3 or turn 4. You're probably triggering a shuffle there, but I imagine it's not a big one, especially with dungeon.
Right. So Derpa hitting 5 here. Yeah, I think I like Pixie Silver. Just get the guaranteed 5. Can get the dungeon a little later.
Apprentice is first 5. Interesting.
Ooh.
don't
think the
really
apprentice-
like it. There's a lot of good trashing. Your estates are probably already gone.
Yeah. I was a little curious about like apprentice treasure trove stuff, but
Hmm?
I don't
could
know.
see
I feel
adding
like
an
the
apprentice for
coppers.
draw. I don't think that means getting it early though.
Yeah, yeah. If you're gonna do that, you still delay it a bit. I mean, I feel like that probably. I mean, maybe it could come up if you like pull a flames gift, but I think other than that, you just have like a bunch of coppers that you like already want to be trashing with goat, and you don't really want more.
I'm sort of more inclined to sacrifice horses to apprentice than I am to do the treasure trove thing.
Well, that's not like if you're doing that, that's not any better than like not having the apprentice in your deck, right?
Yeah, I think that's just functionally using apprentice as a cancel. It's
Uh-huh.
not strictly useless though, because you could empty the horses, and then if your opponent has more paddocks, that really hurts them more than you.
Oh.
Okay.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Thanks, jnails.
No
Yeah.
problem, I got that. But yeah, like if you had a horse, you draw one. If you have an apprentice on a horse, you draw more than that, but you had more cards, and it all cancels
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, thinking on it, it's pretty uninspiring. It's a good question, DZ. Why are they gaining so many silvers?
Yeah, chesstick does have a lot. It's kind of funny too because chesstick was the one who decided against opening silver, but now is like going really hard for.
Chesty is the one who decided in favor of opening silver in the previous game.
Yeah, it's true. I don't think I want Outpost particularly soon.
Really?
I think, well, at least like this market I like is second five. And maybe
Oh, I guess
Outpost.
Chestick's deck is not as thin. I would think if I were derpa, a thing I'd be thinking about is like how soon can I get productive outpost turns, and I feel like that's like this turn I would think is the time to be picking up outpost.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, kind of the awkward thing about this board is that, like, until a pile empties, the only real draw is like Apprentice Treasure Trove.
Yeah, I would have expected pixies to go a lot faster.
Yeah,
Yeah, Will-O-Wisp is real draw.
that's true. Squire. Squire.
What about Squire works with Outpost?
Well, I think Sycomatic's idea is just getting to play the outpost and the paddock in the same
Oh,
turn.
oh, okay. She's using as a village. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm
Apprentice
overthinking it. I'm
Golden
like
Mark.
looking for a weird synergy there. Like, wait, what? Yes, Squire is a village. And yeah, there's a treasure trove.
Interesting. I'm skeptical of this.
It seems okay to me, although I really want Flame's Gift if I'm doing this.
I also dislike not discarding that second dungeon. I don't think you want to play both dungeons here at all.
Yeah, that was also strange. Score is
HSV
2-0
victory.
Derpa. Yeah, like, are you even playing this apprentice or this dungeon?
I don't think
Certainly
so.
not. It doesn't do anything for you. In fact, it
Yeah.
basically stopped you from trashing a copper here.
Because, I mean, if you buy an outpost here and then, like, if you play both the dungeons and then you buy an outpost and then you play the outpost, then you have no outposts coming in on the, or no dungeons coming in on the outpost turn, which is something you'd really want.
Mm-hmm.
And it costs some copper trash.
Squire Outpost.
Sure.
Makes sense. Yeah.
The brave move is Pixie Outpost.
Yeah, I was gonna
Just
say that's the other
be like, I'm gonna
alternative.
get the Field's Gift. I believe in
Oh,
all.
okay. Or I don't know, maybe chesstick's gonna take 7 pixies here.
Oh my god, they actually did it!
Yeah, they did it.
I'm kidding.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, don't listen to me.
I mean,
Now watch him get Field's
discard
Gift
out
anyway.
outpost silver. Discard. I mean,
Hey,
you
I
really
think
want
just
to smash
discard their
that gold.
treasures.
Yeah.
what you really want to do is
I mean,
smash that like and subscribe button. It's on YouTube, isn't it? Subscribe to Killer Hits' channel
Yeah.
for more great streaming content.
yeah. Smash it like it's a gold that's going in the trash right where it belongs.
I'm not the one recording this
Why?
time. This will be on Killer Hits' channel.
Yeah. Thank you, DZ. Truly a man of culture. So yeah, Derpa definitely would benefit a lot from having a village here. I would love to play Outpost and Paddock, obviously.
Wait, is the Pixie the bottom card?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know it's got Field's Gift, so obviously you kill the goat here to draw your Field's Gift.
I mean, I don't know. You could like play Outpost, like just buy 2 pixies. I don't know.
Okay, here's Field's Gift.
Smashes the
killed
treasure trove.
Treasure Trove.
Um,
I don't think it would have done that, but
think you
River
take
kind of
this.
works nicely with Outpost, I guess.
Hmm.
Probably.
Hmm.
what do you want here?
Do you rebuy the treasure trove?
I assume the not followed by is probably a Squire, even though you don't quite need it yet. I
I
guess
like
you
how
could
I'm considering buying treasure trove pixie, and that would just be accepting that this turn accomplished literally nothing. Yeah,
We
that's
do
what they
it.
bought. Just yeah,
Back to the drawing
just
board.
pure spinning.
Spinning is winning.
Yeah, I think yeah, I mean I think Derpa just really paid for like a bad start of turn discard there. Like they should have just discarded the outpost and kept either, well, it could have been the silver or the gold. Just like something to trash with Apprentice.
Yeah.
Then that turn actually would have accomplished something.
Why are we not playing this dungeon? Do we not?
I mean, it's card negative, but still think playing it made sense. I'm not sure what that last card is, though.
Yeah, I
I
would
mean,
think we'd be
certainly
trying to
look down on
seed
playing this
horses.
copper again.
You can't do that assemble me because no village.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Like playing the dungeon means you have 7, but they only spent 7 anyway.
Right.
And like, I think Squire Market was probably a good set of buys there. You need the village next turn.
Wait, wasn't the bottom card the treasure trove? So, like, Zerpa didn't get to play the treasure trove because of not playing the paddock, I think.
You mean the dungeon?
Or, yeah, the dungeon.
So I think they have pretty similar decks here. Who's ahead?
I've like mostly just been paying attention to what derpa's doing.
Honestly, that is
Did
very natural tendency. Is whoever's player one, you got their
Yeah.
PO.
right. Yeah, their decks do look kind of similar. Oh, chesstick not finding outpost.
Is
This
that bottom
turn's
card?
pretty.
That's really sad.
I think. I think so. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I like this apprentice treasure trove stuff, though. I think I would have gone a bit harder for pixies because I think flame or swamp would have done a lot for deck control.
Okay, I agree with that.
So what do we blow up here? Gold? Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Send it to the trash.
Where it belongs.
Yeah, I mean, there really wasn't anything else that was reasonable. I mean, if you had like a gold and a silver or something, you could think about how much draw you need.
Would definitely have been nice to see Flame a little bit earlier. At this point, you're not going to take it.
Yeah.
It is a little, I don't know, a little counterintuitive to me how Derpa has so few coppers despite getting the early treasure trove. I guess that's probably a function of like trashing the treasure trove that one turn and then having to rebuy it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they haven't played the treasure trove all too many times. They've gained 2 total golds. Is that right? Actually, one of them was
Mm-hmm.
chesticks. Yeah, they only gained. They only played the treasure trove one time. That
Oh,
only
wow.
counts for 1 copper.
So this is turn 10 for Derpa, and this is going to be the second time they play it. And, well, they bought it on turn 7. Okay.
Now, bear in mind, they did have a full outpost turn in there as well. Um,
True. Um,
they don't like playing the dungeon.
uh,
No, this time it actually makes sense because they just played the previous dungeon.
yeah, I mean, it's not making this turn any better, so I feel like alternating them makes sense. Um, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna like have them not alternating, makes more sense to have them both at the start of the turn for the outpost turn. But I think I'd still rather them alternate.
What do you think of Haddock Squire as a buy? It seems reasonable. I don't think my mind's made up as to whether that's the best set of buys there.
I was thinking about like Market Pixie, but yeah, Paddock Squire seems okay too.
I also would not mind a scheme here. Scheming apprentice, like on your outpost turn especially, seems like a thing that's worth doing.
Um,
Yeah, it wasn't
yeah,
really on my radar, but I like it.
And they had 8, so you could do scheme at
yeah.
cost.
I mean, I feel like if you're going to buy Scheme, you would buy it on the outpost turn so that the first time you're playing it, it's top decking for the outpost turn.
Hey, you could get on the outpost turn. Maybe here's the time to get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Scheme. I mean, at least if it's um, convenient, Scheme this turn makes sense.
I was considering crashing the dungeon there. That being said, they only have 3 buys, and so like I don't really mind them having a little bit too little money here because like you can still buy what like 2 pixies and a 5 or something and be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a good point that like You didn't really need the plus action from Squire this turn, so you could have just put off buying it. I kind of want a second treasure trove.
It's not the craziest thing. I mean, you need payload somehow, and you can't just keep adding paddocks till something runs.
Just watch me.
Okay, second apprentice there.
And second trove.
Yeah, I don't think I love the apprentice. I feel like I would have rather taken like Scheme Pixie there. Or maybe even just like Market.
It does seem to me that derpa's got a bit of a lead.
Yeah.
I think that's a result of them having played 3 more turns at this point. Between player 1 advantage and outpost.
There was that one term when chesstick had Outpost as the very bottom card of their deck. That was pretty unfortunate. I'm going to see what Marcus predictions say about this division. Yeah, Marcus predictions apparently like chesstick and Assemble Me as the most likely promoters.
Well, derpa's certainly making a case for not being ignored.
Yeah, they've done well so far this match. Here for chesstick, you could buy something like maybe like Paddock Market Double Pixie.
Yeah, just in general, I would expect Pixie to have gotten clicked here more than it has.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed Squire would be closer to running than Pixie.
Yeah. So I guess chesstick is like planning on maybe gaining a silver with Squire. This is a sad apprentice. What do you do here with this apprentice? Do you smash the paddock?
That's a good question.
Maybe smash Squire? Yeah. Okay.
I think what chesstick really needs here is like a well-timed Flames gift, because I think they just still have a few too many coppers for their deck to quite run right. That being said, I think we've already seen Flames gift, and I don't think they have any pixies left. So that doesn't seem like a thing that's in the cards here.
Yeah, not having any pixies is going to make it hard to get Flame's Gift.
This is so many Squires.
Yeah.
Like, what are they doing?
Like I said, I would never have expected Squires to be lower than pixies looking at this board.
Yeah. All right, discarding the outpost. Let's go.
Learning from past experience.
Yes. Probably gonna smash a horse, if anything, with this other.
I think I would take this.
What are we gaining?
A scheme.
Scheme and Pixie.
Yeah.
I have to think about how many paddocks you want to play before this shuffle. Intuition says 1, but have to count.
How many stop cards are down there? Well, a squire now. Really, I don't think should be there, but is anyway.
I think 5 stop cards down there. So, oh, actually, probably play 0 paddocks before the shuffle.
Yeah, I don't think.
Horse. Yeah, horse draws 4 of the 5. Or yeah, and then you trigger with dungeon. Although it would be a little sad if, well, if the scheme bottom decked was in the bottom 2 of 6, because
Well,
then
I
the
think,
dungeon play wouldn't trigger.
unless I'm mistaken, the solution to that is to just not put a squire in there, and then you're fine.
Oh, true. If you take Pixie Scheme, then you don't. Well,
Yeah.
I guess if they both bottom deck, then it's kind of maybe a little worse, but that's very unlikely.
I think you just draw it all at that point because they can't both be the last card because they're both cantrips. Like
Well,
would
it's
be
I
6
think what
cards
Nas is saying is they
total.
could be the last 2 cards.
But like one of those last 2 gets drawn, and then the other one draws the last one. Or am I miscounting here?
Well, I was thinking you only draw 4 with the 2 horses of the 6.
Well, I'm having trouble remembering counterfactually, but I'm pretty sure that 6 included 2 horses, didn't it?
Well, the
Well,
6
yeah,
I was thinking was the 2 cards you discarded
You might
from
be right.
dungeon, plus the 2 Earth's Gifts. Second Apprentice not doing anything.
Yeah.
At this point, you're thinking maybe you should have even smashed a horse. So, what do you buy here? Like double market Pixie, maybe another paddock.
They definitely have the terminal space for it, especially going to with that post turn.
Yeah, actually, it could have been like 2 paddocks.
And
Nice.
squires are about to run, so they'll be non-terminal.
Yeah. Maybe like 2 squires and a pixie could have been good here.
2 squires and a pixie.
Or squires. 2 paddocks and a pixie. Definitely not more squires.
Oh, you really don't want 3 pearl
Well,
diamonds.
okay, yeah. Of course. I guess this is kind of the point in the game where you have to track the boons to really know what the utility of adding more pixies is. Let me see what they are.
Kill this gold.
Yep. Toss the coppers, pull up the gold.
So, for anyone who's curious, the remaining boons are wind, sea, and swamp.
Swamp? Always juicy, but it's getting a little late for it.
I don't know, with all these squires in the deck.
Good points.
Sea is also not bad. Could save you an apprentice trash.
I feel like the second apprentice should really just be trashing a horse at some point.
Yeah, you gotta get that horse pile low.
Yeah, well, I mean, once the horse pile gets emptied, then the paddocks get better, you know?
That's true. Yeah, paddocks go a lot better without horses.
Yeah, when they're all 30 horses are in the trash, the paddocks give you extra plus actions. Just makes the card so much better.
You get to like almost conclave level in power.
Oh yeah. It's a bit worse than with Snowy Village, but other than that, it's. I know
Yeah,
that's part of
TZ,
the
we're just
joke.
trolling around.
um,
Yeah, horses like gold. You can gain it via cards that say to, like Treasure Trove, but there's no way to buy it.
maybe I don't know if you were like teaching like a really new player how to play Dominion. Maybe you should tell them that, and maybe they would play better.
It probably would.
um, I feel like we're probably taking at least one province here.
Yeah, I think it's probably time to start greening.
Yeah, it seems reasonable. Actually, is it? I mean, like, you're scoring from Triumphal Arch points if you just continue building here, aren't you? I'm not sure what the state of their Triumph points are, actually, though. Maybe that's not true.
I think it's like 4 markets and 4 squires, or
They got 4 horses for sure.
Yeah, 4 horses.
Maybe they
I
don't
how many
actually score for
squires.
Triumphal Arch here. So maybe you do take a province.
Yeah.
Outpost is that sort of card where you have to be extra careful about piles, because it's very easy to pile over 2 turns. Especially if some of the cards you'd be picking up to pile are like extra plus buy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just worried that if you just like, I mean, if you just do all building here, then you're just gonna lose over 2 turns. But even if you take 1 province, I think I'm still worried about losing over 2 turns. So I think you might just have to do like double province pixie.
Let's see, what does Chesstick's deck look like? They've got 3 markets and how many squires in there? A bunch? Like a ton?
Far too many.
I think the answer is like a bajillion.
I mean, I don't know. I guess like, so like Squire Paddock is like draw neutral, but like gives you 3 more money, which is like pretty good compared to like markets and stuff. I think it's the problematic squires. I think are just the ones that were added in excess of the required terminal space.
Like, derpa has a reasonable number of squires at the moment. It is Chesstick's deck I'm more worried about. Anyways, the thing I was just thinking about a second ago, but didn't really come to a conclusion on, is like, does Chesstick naturally score Triumphal Arch points here from the lowering of the piles? Like if they were to take Market, Squire, Pixie. I think that would leave them with like at least 6 extra points from Markets and Squires. So it does feel like maybe double province is necessary, because your opponent can easily get to 15 here just from piling.
They're taking their time to think on this one. I like 2 provinces and a pixie the more I think about it.
I feel like this, at least in hindsight, this second apprentice is looking kind of silly.
Yeah, it really hasn't
Does
done much
the
this
lap
game.
card sitting there?
I mean, I guess what it's like accomplished on some of the turns is that it's just made it less likely that you see 0 apprentices, but obviously scheme.
Okay, they are still pretty deep in this think.
I mean, if you're not buying double province pixie, what are you buying?
Double province
Like-
pearl diver because you don't lure
Province,
pixies.
Pixie, Market, something else.
Maybe like province, market, squire, and then pixie, something like
Psycho
that.
is
Taking a
suggesting.
market and a squire sounds really dangerous to me.
Yeah, Psycho is suggesting Market Paddock Prov, but also noting that they're not sure if that's safe.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I don't like being able to get more triumph points next turn isn't really that appealing to me. I'm more just like want the point now. Because I feel like if I get another turn, I feel like I'm definitely winning.
I mean, how are you getting triumph points now?
Well, like if you bought a market and a squire, for example. Although that's I don't know,
That
that's
doesn't. Yeah, I don't think that actually nets them any points.
well, right now we're on 4 markets, 4 squires.
I
There's
think
2
it's 4
squires.
markets and 4 horses.
Well, I think there's also 4 squires because there's 2 squires in discard.
Oh, okay.
Because yeah, that's what
Oh,
they.
are there? I was just saying a second ago. I thought it was chesstick deck that had too many squires. Maybe I was just mistaken about that.
No, they both have 4. Derpa
Well,
discarded 2
one's in the trash.
squires. Then Chestic only has 3.
Oh, so then it is derpa that has too many squires. I was just mistaken earlier.
Yeah, yeah, like Derpa has um even on the I guess on the outpost turn, Derpa has like 3 free terminal space, and then like on the non-outpost turn, has like 2. So yeah, it's pretty overkill on the squires. Uh,
This better be the best sequence of buys I've ever seen.
I mean, there's no win here, so I'm not sure what they're really thinking through. They could be trying to count their opponent's gains to see what's safe if they don't really want to green very much.
yeah, I mean, you could think. Yeah, you could like spend a long time thinking to try to figure out like if some sort of like single province plus build line was safe. But I think I'd be pretty comfortable just doing double in Pixie. Yeah, like any sort of like market. You could like province market squire or something. Like you could go for that, but I don't know. Seems risky.
Double province pearl diver.
If you don't want to lower pixies.
But you gotta get a cantrip. Gotta spend all your money.
You also can't bottom deck that outpost.
I mean, I don't think bottom decking outpost is
Yeah, I actually don't think that's it. This person's got scheme. They should be fine.
right. I mean, at this point, that would be a good thing, right? I mean, maybe. Well, like Pixie could be the third pile, so maybe it actually is like double and pearl diver. But I don't think I would do that.
Okay, there's the double and squire.
Naturally, it is a squire.
We need a lot of squires.
Right.
They don't have enough.
Yeah, I gotta get more of those.
I mean, they can't trash some of the apprentice to gain an attack card.
I was thinking this whole time, like, if there's an attack on board, these squires would actually start to be a lot better as apprentice food.
I mean, the squires are kind of attacking your deck.
Alright. So now we've.
I don't think you take wind.
No, it doesn't seem necessary. Seems like your turn is accomplishing the exact same thing with or without it.
So what are you apprenticing here? I don't know what their last 4 cards are.
Oh,
I think there's a dungeon down there, so you could just apprentice a squire.
dungeon.
Do they have a third
It's
market?
Dungeon Outpost, Third Market, one other card.
Yes, I don't think it's actually possible to dud if you apprentice the squire. You'll find either
Oh, yeah,
the
I think it's.
outpost or you'll find the dungeon or the
Treasure Trove.
market.
Okay, they choose to trash a gold. Psycho is suggesting trashing a treasure trove.
I
No,
think that's a squire.
I think Psycho was saying it in response to
Oh,
me.
okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
that was the fourth card. Um,
This is a lot more draw than you need.
Yeah.
so presumably dungeon, discard 2 horses, then market triggers. Although maybe you. Oh, no.
Yeah, that seems fine. Play the market, then the outpost. Leave a horse on top.
Yeah. Okay, so can we win over 2 turns?
My guess is no. This doesn't look like enough money.
I
But
kind of feel like you can.
let's see. You got 10, 14, 16, 18 right here.
And you're getting another 8 money.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, so let's say we go. Um,
So the piles cost 27, and they score you. You're getting extra. You're getting extra trample arch points here, I think.
yeah, you're getting like
Points.
9 more points from Triumphal Arch. At least if you don't trash any pixies. So 9 more points, and then you just need like single to tie and then single estate.
Wait, sorry. What's the other action that ends up at 6 other than Pixie?
Market.
Do they have? Oh, you're right. I can't count.
Counting's hard.
So let's
There's that
say
one
you.
market that's not with the rest of them, and
Yeah,
hard to
so
find.
one's on the left, one's on the right. What are they doing?
So if you buy triple market pixie, and then you need, yeah, and the buys are, yeah, I would think pixie over squire is like less likely to dud.
You might need that silver gain. I don't even know. So 27 to empty the 3 piles, and we said that's 18 points. So you also need a province and an estate.
Yeah,
So that's another 10.
that's.
So 37 money.
So by emptying markets, you're already getting 1 action from Paddock. I don't know. I mean, the second action could be useful too. Huh.
Not particularly action starved.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to like use all of your
Squires
squires
for
for like
buys and silvers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
but-
I'm thinking it's at least theoretically possible here to pile, and I think it's worth going for.
I mean, draw is a little dicey here because like we just trashed 2 golds this turn, right? And then we're also playing 2 more treasure troves.
Yeah,
And
I
we
think
have
the
less
answer
draw.
is probably that you're gonna need to take some extra silvers here. Like on your next turn and then redraw them. But they've got extra horses sitting around.
So yeah, so next turn we need 18 to tie, 20 to win.
I believe so.
Yeah.
You mean like in amount of money that they generate at the end of the turn?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I will say, now that I'm thinking more about it, I don't think double in. I think it should have been double in Pearl Diver. Because I don't think that lowering, like taking a Pixie or a Squire there was really safe.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe your double estate is necessary.
I don't know. I feel like I don't like taking estates that are like speculative. Because it's like you're making your deck worse, and it's like only maybe going to help you. I guess I like there to be like a more concrete reason to take an estate. I mean, you do trash copper here, right?
I think so. Extra draw lets you gain extra silvers on the following turn, which seems good.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
it hits
it's like
the
you're not really drawing your deck next turn, I don't think.
I think you are,
Well,
right?
well, it's kind of close. The fact that you got to save so many horses maybe means that you are.
I mean, like a very real problem that chesstick might have here is, I mean, they got a dungeon in play, but they could still dud if they just don't find their horse or their apprentice in time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no scheme for chesstick.
How many horses of these were top deck? Was this a lucky shuffle, or did they have that much of a forced top deck? Oh, never mind. This isn't their outpost turn yet. I
Nope.
thought that this was their starting hand. I was like, wow, damn, it's a great starting
Oh,
hand.
yeah, just one horse on top.
So triple market here, I would think, seems pretty automatic, and then probably Pixie.
Pixie seems better than Squire, I think.
I don't think you need the Apatics to be double activated here for any important reason.
Although, so
Yep.
boons left are Swamp and
C.
C is really significant here.
Well, I mean, if you trash for C, you lose Triumphal Arch points.
Oh, that's a valid point you've got there.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about double activation is like you don't have like a lot of overdraw, so like gaining a bunch of silvers, I don't think is actually doing that much for you.
Well, I think if you have any overdraw, you have a bunch of overdraw because you're putting 4 more horses down there.
That's true. Yeah, yeah. If you can draw into the horses, then...
Yeah, which they looks like they can. If there's got to be more cantrips down there. They got more markers down there. So if you kill this gold, you're drawing. I think this is a win.
Yeah. Kill treasure trove. I think both win.
Yeah, I imagine that's not a huge difference either way.
Yeah, I mean, gold is maybe a bit more natural, but yeah, I think this is fine too. Yep, so we just need well, we have the buys, and then we just need 20, which, yeah, we have 20.
Yeah, they should
Don't
overshoot
even...
it here a bit, in fact.
Yeah, I don't even need to like gain any silvers or anything like that. Okay.
So what exactly happened here? Derpa seemed to have the lead throughout this game. Is it just the piles lowered in an awkward way? Or I don't know what.
yeah, I'm not sure
Yeah, I
when
mean,
it swung the other way.
I don't think Derpa was ever that far ahead. I think it mostly just was, yeah, just like the way the end of the game played out. It kind of swung in chess sticks. direction. I mean, I think the like trashing treasure trove and rebuying it kind of squandered some of Derpa's early advantage.
Was the double prov turn bad?
I mean, the buy certainly seemed like
Yeah.
close. I mean, like the squire was suboptimal, but like not buying squire here wouldn't have actually saved them.
Yeah.
I mean, that being said, some of those previous squires might actually have contributed pretty substantially to the issue.
Okay, so 2-1 in Derpa's favor. Chesstick gets on the board.
Oh, these have been slow games.
We're 2 hours in. We've only played 3 games.
Wow. That chess clock is ticking.
Chess is ticking.
The derp clock is derping.
Just derping along.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
interesting. Den of Sin looks relatively significant here.
I have a proc wine merchant, which is always
Yeah.
fun. Although there's no 6 cost, but still nice thing to do.
Yeah, I think proc is worth playing with here. It looks like it. You got a decent little ladder from raise up to wine merchant, and then you're happy to proc wine merchants.
Can potentially proc farmers market to give you the points. I don't know if farmers market's supposed to see play here or not, though.
My guess is no. You don't need the plus buy with wine merchant around.
I mean, is wine merchant really better? They're both pretty weak.
They're both weak, but wine merchant looks a lot better with proc around, I think.
So what do you open here? Double raise silver.
Raise silver is my first thought, having given not much attention to detail.
Could consider like raise shanty too.
Raise gladiator.
Do we like playing with Gladiator here?
It's marginally more likely to hit 5. You're not super pressed for terminal space early, and it can be procced if you get a proc. The downside is it makes it more dicey to add a shantytown, which you probably want one of early, and might have to skip if you have gladiator.
I don't like gladiator. So chesstick can get a den next turn, which is pretty nice. This turn, presumably either second raise or shanty. I think I like second raise.
Okay, they go for farmer's market.
Yeah.
Not inspiring.
Seems really. Wait, why shantytown before raise?
Wait,
Do we
what?
not want to...
No, they drew the raise.
Okay, yeah. No,
That's a good reason.
okay. Yeah. Man, that'd be a good card. A raise you could play right from the top of your deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So chesstick using derpa's tactic from game one. Chesstick won the last one. Yeah, in game one, derpa took this bad swamp hag and then baited chesstick into going for it. Now chesstick baited derpa into farmers market. I feel like playing that farmers market was wrong.
Yeah,
I
you didn't need the
think.
copper, but your opponent might value the silver.
Yeah, I mean that said, like it's also meaning that your next play is going to be worth more, so kind of unclear. Although I kind of think it was bad.
Yeah, I think just knowing nothing else about it, the fact that my opponent's first play is more than my first play just seems like a good default against it.
Yeah, farmers market
Yeah.
definitely has a bit of like first mover disadvantage. You don't really want to play it for one coin.
So here, just trash copper by Den, I assume.
Yep. Look at this beautiful farmer's market.
I mean, it's not bad.
Hey, made $3 there.
I mean, honestly, I think the early farmers markets were kind of okay. Like, it kind of feels like it is a better source of plus buy than Wine Merchant, just because it's not competing with Den.
Fishing village. I guess the fishing villages are not bad if you've got both a shanty and a wine merchant, or sorry, a shanty and a farmer's market in your deck.
I
It's
don't.
less clear to me what the fishing village is doing for chesstick, though.
I mean, it's mostly just being a 3 that's not terminal. I don't think I agree with playing that farmers market for derpa, because now derpa's got no plus buy.
So a question raised in the chat is, are Fool's Golds any good as payload? My intuition is I don't want to play with Fool's Golds, although it's not totally obvious. The reason against it, I would think, is draw is limited, and a decent portion of your payload needs to be going to the plus buy cards, like proccing Wine Merchant, and it doesn't leave a whole lot of spare draw to have more than a small number of Fool's Golds.
I think my intuition is yes, although I also would have wanted to get a second raise. And if you had 2 raises, I think Fool's Golds would be a bit more attractive.
Okay, so dens are gone. Both of them drawing their whole decks.
I don't know. So, like, realistically, if you split the dens evenly, what's your hand size functionally is like 7 or 8 each turn,
Yeah.
and then some of those are taken up by plus buy cards. I guess that leaves space for like 3 or 4 Fool's Golds if
Yeah,
everything else is trashed.
I'd be happy with that. Like, this could even be like, yeah, like Wine Merchant. I don't know about that fishing village. I feel like I would have wanted, like, that would have been the time to take the first Fool's Gold, I think.
I still don't think I'm convinced. Like, I feel like you naturally get a decent number of actions. Like, if you just like proc your raises, then you're getting 3s that turn into procs that turn into Wine Merchants, and then the actions I think kind of just acquire themselves kind of naturally. And then there's just like if you've got like I don't know 3 wine merchants or something, a few possessions, then it's all the space you can afford.
Sure. Yeah, I could see that. I don't think either of these players are particularly big fans of proc, though.
Yeah. I definitely want to
Yeah, that's
play
true.
with
If you
Brock
didn't get
here.
it into the Triumph Governor peasant thing,
Yeah,
honestly,
just like,
might not be getting it here.
yeah, I mean, that was like the best case scenario for proc. Oh. If you're going to get proc, I think now would be the time as chesstick.
Chesstick also does not have a shanty town. In fact, the first shanty is like a very good addition to the deck.
Yeah, especially, I mean, chesstick has like 2 fishing villages.
I was thinking proc wine merchant, and then a shanty.
Doesn't proc wine merchant raise strand the current wine merchant? I feel like I'd want to do that.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, proc lovers rejoice. We are going to see some proc.
Oh yeah.
It's happening.
One of my favorite cards. Just very fun card to play with. Does a lot of crazy stuff.
I think it's on my like list, but I can't be sure because I never actually see my like list show up.
Yeah, so chesstick actually stranding a wine merchant there. Just feels like a little strange.
So what are you buying as derpa? Farmers markets.
Poor farmer's market.
I feel like if I wanted more farmers markets, then I'd also want some procs.
Agreed.
Yeah. So the natural thing to do here would be just like just trash copper and play these 2 things and then the shanty, although that's potentially a source for a sad proc.
Indeed.
Yeah, like this. I really don't buy proc very much personally. I probably should buy it more, but it can do some pretty sad things like this.
I find myself buying proc on like turn 1 and turn 2, perhaps more often than I ought to.
I mean,
Yeah, that just seems like
the great thing about ways is now you can open proc and then play it as something else.
Yeah.
yeah, like
Or you can
with
proc
ways
your
that could be.
Necropolis.
I mean, with some of the ways it could be fine, but like I don't think I've ever done that on a board that didn't have experimental on it.
If there's something that gives you compensation where it doesn't just like suck, where when they go to collide, the high roll can be really nice. You know, like you roll proc and anything else decent, you're really happy.
I mean, is it even that much of a high roll? It's like you get to play 2 cards. Like turning one thing into another thing isn't like that great. Like it's only like the turning one thing into another thing is mostly good when you have overdraw and you can play them both. But like, yeah, to me the high roll of that doesn't really sound a whole lot better than just like opening 2 copies of whatever 3. and then not colliding them.
I mean, that's usually a pretty good high roll in itself. You know, if like you have a double ambassador, so you 1 turn 3, 1 turn 4, you're usually very happy.
Sure.
Yeah, it just so happens there the high roll is the more probable thing to happen.
Yeah. I mean, it is. Well, yeah, I guess that's kind of like a small difference. It's like, yeah, it's like 25 versus 20.
So let's see, what do you buy here?
Probably looking for Brock now.
I could see another proc and another wine merchant.
Well, it won't be another proc for.
Oh,
Derpa.
right. First proc, second wine merchant. Oh, they're going
Okay.
into the Fool's Gold.
Yeah. Well,
So the Fool's Gold's good for Derpa's deck right now. My inclination is no. They've only got 2 dens coming in compared to 3 last turn, and they're not quite thin enough yet. But I mean, they have found them both already, so maybe they will pay off in time.
so what are these cards for chesstick?
Good question.
One of them's a copper. I don't know what the other ones are. Okay. I feel like Fishing Village is just kind of like super underwhelming.
Doesn't seem like it's doing much here.
Yeah, like
We'll let you get some terminals out of hand for Shanty, I guess.
yeah, it's kind of nice with Shanty, but like I don't know. I really feel like I'd rather just be having regular villages. Like the payload is pretty dense and the draw is pretty limited, so having a village that's not decreasing hand size seems good.
Especially given that, like, Chesstick acquired those, as I recall, way back when they didn't even have a shanty in the first place.
Yeah. Well, this is not the best turn for Derpa.
Kind of self-inflicted with just picking up a bunch of Fool's Gold.
Yeah. I really think they should have gotten second raise at some point. It's like these coppers are doing a lot of damage to the deck.
Yeah, I agree. The seeing these hands definitely makes it look like second raise. Or I mean, like, I was gonna say procking the first raise, but you still need a second raise to replace the first one that you proc. So either way, you're getting a second raise, I think, at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I like both of those things. I like both getting a second raise and raise being a target for procession. Seem like things that should happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, you're just getting rid of the raise anyway, so proc a raise, you're kind of just getting a free farmer's market or village or whatever.
Alright, we got 2 piles below. It's not obvious to me if a third one will run. Might depend on whether Chesstick follows in on the Fool's Golds.
Yeah. I'm definitely thinking about single province here as Derpa.
proc could also run if they did more ambitious proc things, but I'm not sure that actually happens here. My guess is it doesn't.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could buy something like, I don't know. It could be like even just province double fool's gold. Because you're going to trigger, and then if you do province double fool's gold now, that means you're going to have a shuffle where you just have four fool's golds all lumped together for you to draw in one turn. It's going to let you like double or triple province.
Yeah.
So a little awkward. They're
Next
only
hand's gonna be a
gonna
little bit sad for. Oh, sorry, what was that?
they're only gonna have one den coming in on their next turn.
Yeah, I was about to say something similar, which is this next hand is about to be pretty sad for derpa. The hand after will likely be nice, I think.
Yeah. I mean, the dream would be to draw the den right off the top. 4 dens down, and then you can like triple. Reese Farm. I don't know. I feel like, I mean, if you're gonna play with Fool's Golds, like I feel like you gotta just like really commit to it.
So here they could do a couple different wine merchant or farmers market procs.
Yeah. Are we procking this village, or are we just playing it?
I think we play the village and we proc the other stuff.
So you definitely, I think, procking the farmer's market here.
Mm-hmm.
I would think the other thing to proc is probably wine merchant or raise if you draw it. Maybe is worth considering.
Makes sense.
Are we
Yeah, I think at
procking
this
proc here?
I would think so. Yeah.
Wait, what was the question?
Are we doing proc?
I would think not, right? I feel like you've got a nice even number of possessions and wine merchants in your deck right now, and turning a proc into a wine merchant makes that less balanced and more terminal.
I don't think I really want 3 procs in the deck. Seems like a lot.
It's like, of course, the alternative line can play possessions on possessions the following turn, and then 2 turns from now you end up in a very similar position. So I guess next turn, would you rather have an extra wine merchant or an extra proc?
I mean, I don't know. For me, I would definitely prefer the wine merchant. I mean, yeah, it's just like kind of the same problem that all thrones have. Is just that like, yeah, there's just this like incredible risk of sadness. Like people talk about that a lot with like Mastermind, but like honestly, I feel like it's worse for the other thrones.
I think Mastermind is just a big psychological hit when it does, because you spent the whole turn like, oh, it's gonna be big, it's gonna be huge next turn, and then it's just, oh, it didn't do anything.
Yeah, well, yeah, because like it doesn't like tell you up front that it's going to do nothing. Like you think that it's going to do something, and then it doesn't. But yeah, the other ones, I guess you find out right away that they're going to be useless.
Huh. My mic isn't working that well?
I remember making that exact comment last time we were recording. It was like it happened for a few seconds, and then as mysteriously as it started, it disappeared again. And I remember asking, you said you hadn't changed anything.
Yeah, I haven't changed anything, so sorry about that, but I have no idea what's causing it, and I'm not going to try to debug it right now. But I will look into it.
Just unwrap the tinfoil from wherever you might be.
So presumably the other thing we're procking is the wine merchant, right?
Yeah, I
Well,
would
you
think
wanna let
so.
it-
But are we not procking the farmer's market?
I wouldn't. I would want to let my opponent take the 1 coin play. Give myself more money. Hmm.
I mean, the thing it's getting you is that like the farmer's market dies either way, so you're gaining a free proc out of it. Maybe if you just don't want the free proc in the first place, then there's no reason to.
That's true, but aren't you getting an extra? Well, you're getting an extra 4 and a buy if you proc the wine merchant. So you could use that to buy a proc if you wanted.
Yeah, so I guess if you value the proc, then the extra farmer's market play ends up mattering somewhat because like 1 coin versus 4, but you got a proc out of the 1 coin. If you didn't plan on buying proc, then probably just procking the wine merchant is better.
I mean, the biggest difference for me is just putting this VP token on farmer's market. Like that seems really bad for chesstick.
How many farmers markets does derpa have, and how many processions?
I think.
Multiple farmers markets. I think they have no processions though.
Yeah, I think it's like no procs, and there's like 2 more farmers markets and discard, something like that.
So actually, the baby token looks kind of good. You leave your opponent taking the intermediate ones, and then you're set up again to like proc farmers market for 4 coins and 4 VP.
Potentially, yeah.
I mean, I guess you're also in a fine spot if you don't, because then they take the 1 and the 2, and then you play one farmers
Yeah.
market proc the other.
Yeah, like here they take the 2 and the 3. So if this
Actually,
was them taking the 1 and the 2,
chesstick still has multiple farmers markets, right?
I believe so.
I think so, yeah.
So
Yes,
Derpa,
I think either way it works out pretty well for chesstick. I'm not sure which one's better.
Derpa has a fairly small turn, probably because they only had one den coming in. And chesstick also will only have one den coming in on this next turn.
What do you even buy here? Just province?
I guess.
Is it reasonable?
I don't want to end this turn without a points lead.
Yeah. I mean, you are like, even if you province, you're like 1 estate and farmer's market points away from being behind. Oh,
Okay, we're lowering.
are you? We're trying to lose. Yeah, this is real strange.
Just buy 2 more races here.
2 fool's golds, maybe.
2 fishing villages would be fine. 2 villages. 2 curses.
Okay, another raise. Wow.
Yeah, this is gonna lose. Maybe not. This isn't like that amazing of a turn for Chester.
Wait, actually, chesstick. No, I was gonna say they're kind of game limited, but not really. If they drew the right set of cards, they have a
If
fine
they
number.
find some procs together with a plus buy card, they can make some. They can get a lot of buys, and raises are not expensive.
raised in here. Just pure confidence. Get the proc. Oh, okay. No balls. But
Take the
yeah, it gets
proc
well,
farmers, play shanty.
yeah. I mean, actually, I mean, if that proc was the top card, then not raising den makes perfect sense. Not actually sure which one was on top.
This doesn't seem like a hard choice. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, definitely take that. Okay, so
Well,
this doesn't win.
yeah.
Duchy estate time.
I don't think you really have many other choices.
Buy 3 raises so you can pile it next turn. I mean, it worked for derpa game 1. Aggressively lowering raises for the following turn win. So it's gotta be a good play
Wow.
here, right?
Yeah. Okay, so they're choosing just the duchy.
They didn't have They didn't have a wine merchant in play, so they could have taken the estate.
Yeah, it wasn't
Maybe
about
got
the
acclimated to saving 2 coins.
wine merchant. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to think more about that to see if there's a plausible scenario in which that estate makes the difference. If there's not, I like the play that chesstick did. I
I would
mean, duchy.
expect Derpa to be able to win, but looking at this hand, maybe not.
Kind of feel like probably not. I mean, so like
Are we
what
playing
you?
this turn? That's a lot of games.
I mean, Derpa has 0 procs, right?
That
So
seems
like,
to be the big problem.
yeah, and
I'm not
farmers
sure.
market's on 0. So I mean, what are you gonna do? You're gonna like province plus 5 raises plus, yeah, that seems a little dicey. Honestly, yeah, duchy raise probably would have been fine. Derpa's deck does not do that much.
Yeah, so this should be a pretty easy win for chesstick coming in. I mean, they already have 4 buys in hand.
Yeah. Oh. 3 dens should be pretty hard not to draw something else.
Now we deliberate.
3 raises.
I mean, I guess duchy, but I don't think it matters.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you just lose, but I don't see why you don't take the duchy. It just seems like you gotta at least try.
Yeah, I mean, chesstick is probably taking farmers market points anyway, but yeah, I would probably still do the duchy. Guess 2 fool's golds. I feel like a second shanty could have been good in these decks.
I don't know that you have to think about it for this long. You don't really have many options here. If you're going for fool's gold, just take some more fool's gold.
I'm gonna blame these two players for my sleep schedule for the next week or so.
I know all three of us are in the Americas. I'm on the east coast of America. I live in New York. Yeah, this is a win. I just happen to have a very screwed up sleep schedule right now.
Yeah. Yeah, this is very easily winning. Could win on procs, on raises.
Just click a bunch of cards.
Yeah, you could. I guess you can't. Yeah, you can't win on. You could win on like procs, raises, fool's golds, or villages. I don't think. I think estates was out of the question, but yeah, like fort or no fishing villages too. So there are like 5 different piles you could have won on.
Psh, only 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is now 2-2.
Yeah. Hmm. I mean, Proc Wine Merchant. I don't think it's like anything. I mean, well, it's if there's like a good 6, then
Yeah,
yeah, it's
if it
good.
actually gains something, it's great. But otherwise, you're just throning a wine merchant. I mean, it's fun,
Yeah,
but it's not like game breaking.
right. It's just the throne. Yeah. Ooh, cavalry. Let's go.
Is that your new favorite card?
It is. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I think some sort of yeah, I think Proc was good there.
Yeah, I think Proc was definitely. You want to play with Proc on that board. So here I see IGG with no trashing other than farmland.
True.
But there are alternatives to it. Spices is pretty fast.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like monolithic egg would just lose the monolithic spices.
I think so as well.
But I kind of still want to do some sort of like CV Cav shenanigans. I don't think you can ever like build a fully functional deck, but I think like a partially functional deck could still be good. Fisherman Cav actually is pretty good, right? Because you can potentially just like hit 2 on turn 2 and get another fisherman. Especially with seal makes that a little easier.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think I like the fisherman Cav open.
I do
I
not
do not
like the Cav there on 4-3.
Yeah, turn 1. In general, I really don't like turn 1 Cav.
There has to be a very compelling reason for me to go for it.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Can't even, having trouble even thinking of a good reason.
Thinking something with a traveler, maybe.
And well, you're triggering before you get to put your traveler in the shuffle, right? So
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I don't have anything.
yeah. I mean, maybe I'm sure there's a board for it, but yeah.
You can get paralyzed by just saying, "Oh, there's never anything to do it," and now we have a Dominion problem.
Right. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's some board, but yeah, silver over fish over cab is just, I mean, come on. Yeah, we'll see how they play it. I don't. Okay, yeah, it's choice between topic fisherman and Horses there. Oh, somebody bought a cellar? Hmm. Oh, yeah, I guess that was chesstick's turn too. Huh. I like really hate cellar in general.
I was about to say, I know it has its uses, but I'm a huge cellar hater. I almost never buy the card.
Oh, it's awful. It's like I mean, like even like a card like Warehouse, which isn't like it's not like that great of a card. It's like I mean, it's like a lot worse than stuff like Form or Dungeon, but like Warehouse is like a playable sifter. Like Cellar is just like so much worse.
Yeah, Assemble Me. They did the turn 1 Cav thing, so they didn't really have anything good to do on turn 2.
I mean, is turn one? Can you really call turn 1 Cav a thing?
I mean, it shouldn't be a thing, but it is literally a thing you can do. The rules don't forbid it
That's true.
yet.
All right, so chesstick's got to choose between fives. I mean, really, any of the fives seem reasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Fisherman's a 5, and that's not reasonable. But I feel like I'd probably take Cursed Village. I don't know.
Maybe. I'm leaning towards spices.
Oh, I'm bad.
Spices.
I was longer than I thought it was.
I mean, I guess the idea behind spices is it helps you hit more Cursed Village more later. Okay, so it goes for egg. I feel like in response, like if my opponent starts going for egg, I think then I'd want to start just loading up on spices and not really trying to build much. Okay.
Okay, that hex does nothing.
Yeah. I guess it kind of makes being having the way of the seal out makes Cursed Village over spices a bit more attractive. So
Cellar really showing off there.
oh yeah. We went from a hand where we had 5, and now we have a hand where we don't. So God. Like that's the other thing with Cellar. It's like since you discard before you draw, it's like you can play a Cellar and then have a worse hand than if you discarded nothing. Like at least Warehouse like doesn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much all the other sifters are draw then discard.
Shepherd.
Oh, that's true.
Is
But
Shepherd a sifter?
Shepherd.
I would argue no, because it's
Shepherd
actual
has-
draw.
Yeah, I mean Shepherd has a lot of other stuff going for it.
Cellar and Cavalry are also both kind of sad with the Fisherman around because they put stuff in your discard, so you just never get the Fisherman for cheap.
If we're playing an egg deck, do we really think that a copper plus 2 horses is worse than nothing? That seems pretty questionable to me.
I'm always a little bit uncertain about this, like whether if you're playing like a very degenerate egg thing, whether coppers are even worse than nothing in general, let alone whether copper plus horses is worse than nothing.
I think in the monolithic egg deck, you're totally fine taking on copper.
Yeah, this isn't like full level for degeneracy where you just click only egg. Maybe you don't take coppers wantonly.
I mean, so like
It's a
I
good
think
question.
that
I'm actually gonna run a sim on spices versus IGG since we have a while.
yeah, that I would be interested to see. I mean, my intuition is that monolithic spices beats monolithic egg.
I think you lean the same way. I'm not sure, but that'd be my guess.
That was also my guess.
I feel like the spices deck needs more fine tuning.
It also probably comes down to like you'd have to modify how aggressively the spices deck takes duchies.
Yeah, I would think you want to
Well,
avoid that.
unoptimized, I have spices destroying ill-gotten gains, so
I think that settles it then.
yeah, if I modified it so it actually took duchies more aggressively, I'd probably win a lot more. But it wins 86 to 15 or
Okay.
14, something like that.
Yeah, that seems convincing to me.
I feel like this might be like a kind of like a rock paper scissorsy kind of board where kind of like heavy egg beats heavy cursed village, and then heavy cursed village beats heavy spices, and heavy spices beats heavy egg.
And then on the tier above all the rest, we have Death Card.
And Noble Brigand.
Oh yeah.
I guess the true interaction is Death Cart counters Noble Brigand because it can't get hit.
Mm-hmm.
Noble Brigand counters buying gold. Buying gold counters buying ruins.
I mean, Cellar seems kind of good for Derpa's deck because it's the only way to get these curses and estates out of hand.
Yeah, it seems actually fine for the like Cursed Village deck. I'm not convinced by the Cursed Village deck here, though.
I mean, I would feel a lot better about this Cursed Village deck if we didn't have 3 curses in the deck. Like, I think if I see my opponent start to just buy eggs, I want to just start buying spices.
Well, I mean, you need the curses, otherwise it's just a village deck.
Oh, okay. Oh man, the fancy plays.
Yeah.
I mean, Farmland is still a dead card in the deck.
There we go. Now we got the Cellar. Now we're cooking with fire.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we might be like cooking over a single lit match here. Still feels a little bit. Yeah.
I'm very confident that a spices build would beat out Ig, but I'm not as confident this cavalry Cursed Village thing can handle all the junk coming its way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I want the Cav Cursed Village deck to work, but yeah, I don't think it's like I don't think it's bad in the abstract. I just think it's bad as a response to Ig.
Is there like some interference happening now? I'm hearing like a weird squeaky sound.
Weird squeak.
Huh, seems to have gone away.
I think I know what you're talking about, and yeah, it's disappeared as mysteriously as oh,
There it is.
curious.
Alright, well, chesstick continues to go down the IGG route.
Yeah, I feel like I favor chesstick's position at this point. I feel like this actually kind of reminds me of a game I played against E Honda in our last league match. There were basically like 3 cards that were kind of under consideration for first 5, being Cursed Village, Apprentice, and Ghost Ship. And so it's kind of like if your opponent goes Ghost Ship, you want to go Cursed Village. If they go Cursed Village, you want to go Apprentice. And if they go Apprentice, you want to go Ghost Ship. And so it kind of felt like there was like some second player advantage there. I'm still not like totally sure like if boards exist where like it's actually just better to be player 2.
It's really hard to construct one. Because like it has to be a board where player 1 also just couldn't get the same advantage by passing their first turn.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you pass your first turn, it's like, yeah, I mean, the shuffle situation is like definitely different.
Yeah, it's not trivial like it is in some games where just like player 1 is strictly favored because you could pass on the same effect.
Right. Like
But
chess.
at the very least, I think it makes it very difficult to imagine what the kingdom looks like.
I mean, I think it would have to be a kingdom where like your turn 1 buy is like a hard commitment to a certain strategy, and there is like a rock paper scissors relationship between the strategies.
Yeah, this Cursed Village deck feels like just a lot of spinning without really getting a lot accomplished here.
Yeah, like it's hard to see how Derpa's deck is like ever buying a province, for instance.
Oh, I have an idea actually for this hypothetical kingdom. That
Okay.
I'm not sure if this works, but it reminds me of a kingdom that I played recently, where there was a kingdom where you just actually really wanted to spam flag bearers. I want to say it had like both Way of the Chameleon and Lost Arts, such that you were quite happy to take all the flag bearers. And then imagine maybe there's no trashing or anything, so you're kind of committed to clicking flag bearer a bunch, and then player 2 likely just wins that. Does that make sense?
Well, wouldn't that just be an incentive not to take the first flag?
It might be. I'm thinking if this exists, flag bearer maybe is.
Maybe something with smugglers?
That's another good candidate.
I mean, I know Messenger is like kind of the classic for second player advantage, but that never really seems large enough to like actually just want to be player 2 even before scene splits.
Yeah,
I feel like.
No, go ahead.
Well, you could definitely consider just like taking taking like 1 copper here and like getting a cavalry, because that's going to be the 3rd pile.
Are they going for Prov?
Could be. Nah, I would have thought Cav.
Yeah, I like the cavalry idea.
I mean, I think
it's pretty fine. I think they're a good.
I mean, chesstick looks like they are in a very healthy position to win this game.
Yeah. How much of the like CV deck accomplishing nothing do you think is due to the curses, and how much do you think is just the deck being bad?
It's a good question. I'm not quite sure how to break it down. I mean, draw to X decks in general really trip over junk they can't get out of hand. And the only way to get anything out of hand here is cellar, which is not quite reliable.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have played the heavy CV thing here. I would have thought this is more cavalry and spices with maybe a cursed village if there's a good opportunity with like way to seal things to set it up.
Yeah. I mean, my intuition would have been to take like 1 or 2 cursed village, and then just like a relic and spices. But as soon as I saw my opponent getting egg, I would hop right off the CV train.
So they just want more CVs, but I don't think that's the way to victory here.
Yeah, it seems like chesstick.
Actually, kind of hurt. Maybe it doesn't hurt that much. I was thinking that they missed 5, but they miss
on 2 horses instead, which actually does not matter too much given how late in the game it is, and they're at the top of their shuffle.
Wait,
Oh wow.
It's Derpa was the one who had envious.
Oh, am I just wrong? You're right. You're right. Wait. So, oh, I see. They just. I'm confusing myself. It's late and I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
They just sealed voluntarily to top deck that egg, not because they needed to circumvent envious.
Right. Which, yeah, I mean, you're probably never seeing the 2 horses. Oh,
Yeah, actually, I mean, I like the play. I think it does make sense to top deck an egg there.
Oh man.
what a great card.
This is a nice hand.
Resign?
Would seem totally justified. I definitely like if I feel like I can buy cavalry egg, I would definitely want to be doing that as chesstick.
Pretty sure you play this horse. Oh,
Definitely.
okay, they seal it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like the guaranteed egg, but like, I mean, your opponent's not buying eggs, so like, it seems pretty hard for you to play that horse and then still miss 5.
Well, an advantage is that you get to top deck an egg for the following turn, which is probably going to be like the best card you can hope to see.
That's true.
Yeah, and I mean this is potentially a win here for chesstick if they could buy a cav and it draws up enough.
I would put eggs before the cavalry, and then buy the cavalry and see what you draw.
I think I'm just buying egg here. I mean, it seems super unlikely to draw. Like, you need to draw like 4 money.
Yeah, okay.
From 2 cards.
I see just buying the egg and being okay winning next turn.
I mean, not that, you know, if you buy the cav and then you don't hit 5, it's not like you're in any danger of losing.
Yeah.
Ten spices in the pile is really surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah, it still looks like the best strategy on this board to me.
Yeah. I mean, because like my game plan here was to do like a little bit of the CV stuff and then just start like spamming spices.
Yeah, I don't know. Their strategies here, I feel like, are very reminiscent of how I feel in an Indian restaurant, which is to say, you do the thing that's minimally spicy and everyone else judges you for it.
But isn't the person who buys all the cursed villages the one who gets hexed? How does that play into it?
Yeah, I don't know. Spices is like a good card in kingdoms where everything else is weak. And honestly, in other contexts as well too.
Yeah, I mean, it provides a very strong baseline for money.
It's kind of just a really good card in general, yeah.
I think it's one of those cards where, like, seeing simulations improves your opinion of it. Because, like, every time there's a question of, like, spices versus other thing in a simulation, the answer is just like, oh, look, spices crushes this thing more than you think it does.
I mean, doesn't beat gear. But gear is just, you know, even better of a card.
I mean, did we ever come to a conclusion on that? Because, like, I don't know. I was not convinced that that result was just the spices bot being bad.
I don't think it is. I think gear is just that good in simulator play.
Okay.
But
Gear is certainly an underrated card.
Certainly spices is one of the stronger single card money strategies out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think it's...
I will be right back.
Okay. I think spices is probably the second strongest in terms of things that aren't like...
Things that aren't what?
like cheating. So like basically attack cards and flag bearer.
Oh yeah, flag bear is really good, isn't it? In the monolithic money simulators.
Yeah. Oh, I also think like crop rotation beats everything else.
Yeah, I was actually just about to reference crop rotation, which scores like
Yeah.
really high.
Yeah, I definitely agree about gear being underrated, or like not necessarily like. I mean, it got rated like pretty high in Thunder Minion, but just in terms of like how much people buy it, like
Gear is
Yeah,
such a
like
good card.
the gear thing is like I feel like I've been under the impression forever, both that like gear is incredibly strong and I should always buy it. And I thought everyone else thought the same thing too. And then you look at the statistics, and like most players are like not buying gear all that much. And I don't know why they're not. They should be.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I like for like the longest time, I don't think I like considered gear like that strong, but then I think I just kind of reflected on like, yeah, I buy this card on like almost every game. This card's like really good.
So good in money. It's so good in engines.
It's very
Yeah.
I feel like he
subtly
was like
good
one of
though.
the first cards I realized was like really good. Um,
It takes a while to appreciate why gear is so good because it's a very flexible card. It's not like Recruiter where you play with it and you're like, oh, yeah, I guess so. All right,
yeah.
so let's see. We have Settler Mouse, not a very good mouse. I mean, not bad, but not like a crazy mouse by any means.
I like this kingdom. I think Sanctuary and Keep seems like a fun little interaction. Who can stash away more treasures?
Oh God. So open here is like scrap cargo ship.
All right, let's guess what DZ's least favorite card in the entire game is.
I think it's
I
mouse.
too really hate Scavenger. What a terrible card.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's referencing mouse.
Well, that's not a card, so it can't be mouse.
Maybe it's Settlers.
It's Oasis. Oasis is the worst.
Oh man, I know. I think I forget who it was. Like one of the Japanese players said they like really hate Vampire.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was in the interviews before top 8 of the championship. Who was that?
Okay, yeah. So that
Wait, which Japanese player was in the top 8? This should make it easy.
Yeah, Pop.
Pop.
Yeah, Pop. I remember this because Pop was like, vampire is the worst. One vampire will discard the other vampire. And like the next day, I was playing with vampire and that happened to me. And I was like, God damn, Pop is right. This card sucks.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they were also talking about how it's like a ridiculously strong opening if one player gets a 5-2.
Yeah.
I mean, even outside of the 5-2, it can kind of snowball pretty hard. Kind of similar to like Uni, where like it can just feel like one player just like never really had a chance.
It's also got hexes, and hexes are not the best.
Okay, so we're seeing Scrap Conclave from chesstick.
I don't like the Actually, I don't know how I feel about this yet. It's not the opening that sticks out to me as like a thing I would do, but
I want to open
I mean-
Groom here, but I'm afraid it's not very good.
I'm pretty comfortable with Scrap Cargo as an open.
the card that just like screams out to me at a glance is Cargo Ship because Vampire's around. I would think that any opening here probably involves Cargo Ship. I don't know what else I want.
Yeah,
Double Cargo actually is pretty good here, I think, with the way of the mouse.
Cargo
Maybe-
Groom. Yeah, Cargo does seem pretty reasonable too.
I think that's my answer right now. Is Double Cargo is my ideal opening here. I like double, or not double scrap cargo as well.
Alright. I mean, is Groom even good here? Like,
I don't know. My experience has been every time I'm like, I bet Groom isn't good here. It turns out that like it still is.
I mean, draw's just so limited, and like, I don't know. You know what you actually could do here, which is pretty funny. Don't trash coppers. or at least like don't trash all your coppers. And then you groom for like 1,000,000 settlers and oases. And then you just discard all of the coppers to Oasis and pick them back up with settlers, and you effectively have a bunch of peddlers.
Yeah.
This is true.
You could also groom for a bunch of conclaves and do conclave horse stuff.
I mean, yes, but that's losing you draw.
It only
right?
works
And,
once. It's not very good.
yeah.
Alright, so this is vampire.
Yeah. I actually really like that mass Oasis plan because, like, this is a no draw board, right? So, like, peddlers are real good.
Let's think about this.
Yeah, already these grooms are looking a little suspect.
I mean, I guess you can always mouse them.
That is true.
Yeah, I don't know. I think how many coppers? Maybe like 3 or 4. Not sure exactly.
I think this groom thing sounds pretty plausible. What's the action that you're taking? Just more grooms, I guess.
I mean,
The thing that's like, what's the card that you most likely might want the option to not play with settlers? I would think that's just grooms for the most part. You can mix in some other stuff, I guess.
groom also helps you win the silver split for keep. So, you know, gotta get those silvers. Get that 5 VP.
Yeah.
Sir Vander helped you with a gold split.
Mm.
I don't think Servander should ever get bought. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because you can gain it with vampire.
Oh. Well, I don't think it should ever get gamed either.
Yeah, I think Sir Vander on the top is actually a good way to shut off the knight's file.
Yeah. I mean, if like I think like Bailey and Destry and Michael would be the knights that I'd be excited about.
Michael looks
Oh man,
really
it's
good here.
happening. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Michael sounds like the best. Destry sounds quite good as well. How many coppers do you keep? You don't need a whole lot, do you? Because like one copper can be repetitively discarded when redrawn.
Yep.
You probably just want like, I don't know, 2 or 3 maybe, like just enough that you can find them on the top.
Yeah, that sounds good. And I mean, it's not. It's also not the end of the world, like, because you can mouse the oases too. So it's not the end of the world if you don't top deck a copper.
Yeah, you can just like settlers all your actions until you find one.
Right. So like you're potentially just missing out on a few peddler effects.
Yeah, I think I like this idea. You get like a few grooms and then just start spamming Oasis.
Yeah. It's a really funny game plan. But...
So now, how like monolithically are we doing this? Like, are we skipping cargo and the vampire stuff? I still think no. I think
I want
this
some
is the
sanctuaries.
secondary
No.
getting 5 and getting sanctuary.
Yeah, I still like I still like opening either cargo scrap or double cargo. I'm still looking to get a vampire. I'm probably only one vampire, but yeah.
Yeah, like I actually don't think you want to trash too many coppers. I think the vampire is probably mostly trashing your estates, and then the sanctuary is stashing away those coppers.
Yeah.
I have honestly paid essentially no mind to what the players have actually done this game. Let me go back and look.
They are gaining a lot of grooms, and to some degree doing the Settlers game plan. We only have one Oasis off the supply so far.
2 oases. Let's
Two.
go right here. I don't think I've ever like played an Oasis stack like this. Like, it's like such a weird game plan.
I'm not sure I have either.
Yeah, it's a new one. I've played with a bunch of Oasis before in something like a minion deck, but I've never used that sort of thing where I'm intentionally discarding something to get it into my discard pile so I can then redraw it.
Yeah, I mean the thing is like with minion, it's not doing anything that more minions wouldn't do. It's just doing something that's like kind of similar, but it costs less.
Yep,
But like here, it's doing something that's like
pretty unique to Oasis, yeah.
I've definitely seen kingdoms where like Settlers Bustling Village is like realistic draw, like where there's no other way to increase your hand size, but you've got like forum around and you're doing like forum settler stuff. Here the benefit is so limited. It's like you're getting like one extra coin out of doing it. But the fact that it's way of the mouth, I guess, just makes it so much more convenient to do than with a normal settlers stack.
Right. That's something I really like about Ways is like they make
there's Vander.
But why?
Yeah, and revealing Destry is also not great. Also, presumably grooming for 2 silvers means we're not going to see the Oasis plan. But what was I saying? I think one thing I like about Ways is that they kind of make really awkward decks like a lot less awkward. I remember that one. There was like this one Way of the Pig board I posted, where like because of Way of the Pig, you could play this like weird counting house deck that just like would never have worked without Way of the Pig.
I think my favorite way of the Pig interaction to date is just like in horse gaining kingdoms, where you can just continuously pig all your horses and save up for a big mega turn, where you're just like keeping one in your deck.
Yeah. Well, that was like like I've seen like City Quarter with like horses and pig, and it's just like, oh hey, my action density is like 90% now.
And my opponent can't gain horses.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Mouse? I love Mouse. I think Mouse is my favorite way. I think Mouse, Chameleon, Squirrel are the ones that come to mind as the most interesting.
I'm a big fan of Chameleon. I think it's just so wacky. Yes, you can, Jerry Dot, but you cannot do Infinimaus stuff.
Yeah. I guess if you had like 2 separate Way of them, you could do that, but obviously that's not legal.
I think there might have been an explicit ruling on that at some point.
There was an explicit ruling that you cannot use Way of the Mouse to play a card as Way of the Mouse. So you can't trigger it infinitely.
Oh, but that's just for if there's a singular Way of the Mouse.
I think so, but I think there was also some reason that came up with 2 ways.
But I guess you're also just not allowed to have like 2 Way of the Mouse ways, because even if there's multiple like 3-cost cards, there's only one Way of the Mouse in the kingdom.
I would think so, yeah.
I was imagining a world where you have like 2 different 3-cost actions as Way of the Mouse available. And like you play one as the other to circumvent the generic ruling.
Um,
I feel like we've reached two natural stopping points for knights and blown past them. It's like after we each took one, then it was Anna on the top, which did not look particularly appealing to me, but that also got gained.
people have some weird ideas about Dame Anna.
What weird ideas?
That she's like amazing, and
I think there's a fair number of kingdoms where Dame Anna is solidly the best knight. This is just very much not one of them.
yeah, I mean, yeah, those definitely exist. But like, you also hear people talk about it like, oh, this is a kingdom where whoever gets Dame Anna wins, and it's like, no, no kingdom is like that. Like,
Dame Anna on top and no trashing is a pretty big first mover advantage.
I mean,
I
whenever
have-
you can get
I have
exclusive
totally-
access to a resource like trashing, that tends to be very strong.
I mean, the thing is, like, I have watched games where somebody opens Dame Anna and it is the only trashing and they lose. Like, I have definitely seen that.
I mean, like, it's not resignable yet, because, like, an easy counter is, like, if you also take a knight and then they collide early, they've gotten in, like, a trash or two, which is not the end of the world. But, like, if you open Dame 2 or 3 trashes, then, like, 6 fewer jump cards can be a pretty huge deal.
Yeah.
I think it's, where does Dame Anna stack up? Like, somewhere, like, 3rd, 4th or 5th best knight?
Probably like 4th after like Bailey, Michael, and Molly, something like that.
Well, I would have said Bailey, Michael, Destry, and then, like, Anna, Molly, and other stuff.
I mean, I feel like Molly's pretty good just because of like on the terminal limited kingdoms where it's like where like the knights are good, but it's just hard to play a lot of them. Then like Molly's really good.
Well, that's fair.
A knight that lets you play 2 other knights.
Yeah.
What a rave.
I feel like conclaves should not be as low as they are.
Probably not. Do we like that decision to stop there?
I don't think so. I probably could have played a bunch of those as mouse, right?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't want to trigger a shuffle, which is why they stopped.
Yeah, but I don't know if that shuffle was all that bad.
I don't on us being 3 hours and 14 minutes in, but I just have not kept a sufficient track of what is in each player's decks to have it in.
They're buying a bunch of knights. There's some brooms and conclaves flying. You know, stuff's happening.
Yeah, buying some
Oh, yeah, Michael's gonna go poof.
pretty questionable knight buys, really.
I mean, the very first knight buy was good because that was vampire.
Wait, what? Oh. I think knights too are just like pretty overrated.
Why do you have Ironworks here? What is Ironworks doing for you?
What was that?
Like, why do you have an Ironworks?
It's like a groom, but worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We talked about like not wanting to trigger the shuffle. Like, it's kind of like, I mean, well, actually, I don't know for sure if there were any like coppers, but like, in general, if you trigger a shuffle mid-turn, that's kind of good for settlers.
That's true.
I feel like what I like about Way of the Mouse is that like since there's like so many like unique possibilities that like you're only gonna get like once or twice, it's like it gives you like a pretty unique experience.
Most games with Way of the Mouse feel different from other games with Way of the Mouse. Although you do have some pretty degenerate stuff like, Encamp Mess, where pretty much uh, everything doesn't matter. Like, you just try to figure out what gives you action cards you can shove into your deck the fastest.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's just absurd.
Like, I played an
Yeah.
Encamp Mouse Stonemason game, so the correct opening was just to just get 3 stonemasons in the open and then, like, just keep adding more.
Right. Don't you kind of? I guess that's. Well,
Hey, DZ, I
I really
felt
think
really
part of what
clever
makes
when I
Mouse
figured out
interesting.
the Mouse Lurker Autopile Fortress thing.
Mouse Flicker Autopile.
So you play a
oh,
fortress or another card as lurker, it trashes the fortress pops into your hand, and then you do it again.
See, as long as you get the end of your deck.
No, you don't. It pops into your hand.
Oh my God, yeah, that is.
Yeah, I found
so
that pretty
literally the
early
first
on in
person to
Menagerie.
play an action card.
Can have 10
Yeah.
fortresses, yeah.
Yeah. um, first player advantage much?
Utterly degenerate.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, I got to imagine like most boards you can just resign.
I'm just imagining like you have like a 3/4 opening or something, and the optimal play is to like buy a traveling fair and top deck a ruins.
Oh, that's great.
Not only do you have 10 fortresses in your deck, but they're all also lurkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why DZ thinks that's a bad thing. That'd be hilarious.
I'm also a fan.
I mean, it would be funny, but
Yeah.
I
I
mean, it's
certainly
also pretty dumb.
I wouldn't want to have to be the person who doesn't get to have 10 free fortresses in a board where that matters.
Yeah, that would feel pretty bad if your opponent did that.
The other way I really like that I forgot to mention is Way of the Horse, which also has a few degenerate interactions.
I was looking at that board you posted a day or two ago with the turn 5 win.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty crazy. Is that does it even need Piazza, or is it just you need Way of the Horse, Stockpile, and Cav?
You absolutely don't need Piazza. I'm not even sure it was a good buy. Um, but yeah, Way of the Horse plus Stockpile plus Cavalry is just absurd.
I feel like I had that once when I was playing Extra Menagerie.
Like,
All right, well, all knights are now gone.
I'm pretty sure on turn 5 of that game, I started out with like no stockpiles in the deck, and by the end of turn 5, the game was over.
Wait, why were there? Oh, do you mean like no stockpiles?
I had not
Like,
gained a stockpile.
really?
He
Displace,
opened with displace
yes, displace
displace
nothing.
something into. I looked at the game a day or two ago. It's really crazy one. Highly
Okay.
recommend loading it up and looking at the last turn. It's quite a last turn.
Yeah, like literally, you gain one stockpile with displace, and just get to the end of your deck, and then you just click cavalry and stockpile a bunch of the game ends.
In friendly mix, I had a board with Hermit, Cavalry, Stockpile, and Destrier, and I won on turn 5.
This,
Yeah.
this game is a bit of an anticlimax for sure.
Yeah.
I'm glad we can provide a lot of useful commentary on.
Oh, yeah.
Being made here.
Yes. Close analysis of the decisions made by the players.
Only
Yeah.
top level analysis here.
This hand is not doing a lot for the perception of Dame Mana's strength.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Dame Anna. I feel like she's been seen like more than once where she literally just wasn't even played.
I mean, in this kingdom, I don't think there was any assumption in the first place that Dame Anna was going to be any good. I assume it was being bought as a vanilla knight in the first place, but
Yeah, but like Vanilla Knight is just not good here.
Or
Like,
ever, really.
So,
Yeah.
has anyone been keeping track of keep?
Yes, as
oh,
you can tell, I've been closely counting the key points, and I can tell you the exact splits.
Well,
Um,
that gold gives derpa 5 VP, so,
yeah, Derp is winning the gold split by 1.
and I think chesstick
oh
is
man,
silver and
let's
copper.
go. Let's go, Oasis Mouse. I don't know. What do you think about that gold by jnails?
Well, I mean, there is keep. So I guess it's like buying a province, which buying a province isn't the worst. Honestly, I enjoy keep games. I know a lot of people hate this this
Yeah,
landmark.
it's on my ban list.
Um, I find the like the point ping pong to be kind of fun.
Yeah, I'm okay with keep. I mean, I wouldn't say like I actively enjoy it, but it's not something I'd really consider putting on dislike or ban list.
There's a
I
lot of
feel
work
like,
landmarks.
yeah. I mean, I also feel like people misplay with it a lot because it's like you have to recognize that like it's about how many points I have at the end of the game. It's not about how many points I have now. And like I feel like that like how many points do I have now mindset like makes people do some pretty silly things.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think a perception I had a while back was that like, oh, keep really favors money because money gets you money. And I feel like more and more, I feel like keep favors engines that can just like take a bunch of money in the last turn or two, and then sweep those
Yes.
points out from under you.
Is it estate time? I think it might be.
Apparently, it is.
Yeah, I mean, Supile's already empty, so especially with all these grooms in the deck.
Oh,
Could
we're
be.
just drawing more grooms.
All right, are we
Not a bad
piling
time to throw
estates
some in.
this turn? I think we might be.
Let's see, groom for another one, scraps another buy.
1, 2, 3. They're really close.
Yeah, I mean, even without scrap, I mean, I think.
I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. What if
I would
that
have thought the
just?
play there is to groom for an estate and then reevaluate once you see what you draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, like seeing this bat, it would be. Well, like if you would have groomed for an estate there, you would have it in hand. Just scrap the bat.
Wait, is that enough? Am I just miscounting?
Well, you'd
No.
have three buy. You take action buy. You buy three
Oh, yeah,
estates.
they already have it. Yeah, I didn't
Natalie.
think they already had 2 buys. You're right. Yeah. So yeah, definitely within
So
the.
now, so probably just yeah, but now you don't have it.
I'll play
Oh,
Conclave as settlers and see what you draw.
Yeah, you said it.
okay.
Or don't.
Or we don't do that.
Yeah. I don't this.
Now, I mean, I don't know. I was about to say piles are dangerously low, but I realized I actually have no idea of the ability of chesstick's deck to gain multiple estates in a turn. And maybe
Well,
maybe this is the only room they've got.
they have some number of grooms between 1 and 6. I can see that
There's
based on what's on the
also
screen.
there's also 3 grooms in the trash.
So that makes it between 1 and 4, 1 and 3,
3.
1 and 3.
Yeah, total. I mean, I don't think anybody really committed to the Oasis deck at all. I think they both have like one Oasis.
Yeah, it's a mystery how they they overlooked the natural power card in this kingdom that is Oasis.
I mean, Oasis kind of is a power card here, which is so crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm. Alright, take our products.
I have no idea what the copper split is. So.
Well, it didn't change the scores, so I believe chesstick is winning on coppers and silvers.
Alright, we're lowering the estates, and somewhat precariously.
Why did we play that conclave as a con?
I don't know. I would definitely want to play it as settlers.
Goodbye, horsey.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think you... Actually, you can't afford to trash a copper here with this bat, because you just saw your opponent trash a bunch of coppers.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
I
you
still
probably wanna
think you
buy gold,
lose on your
though.
next turn.
Oh, that's true. Gold. I was thinking by duchy, but gold is actually worth a bunch of points here.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know. Is buying gold like a duchy and a vampire versus a gold?
Mm,
I mean, how thick is this deck? How likely are you to see this vampire before the game ends? I guess maybe gold is just better on account of they might take you one more turn.
I mean, mostly you're just losing. Well, actually, the points from gold are pretty relevant. Like the duchy points do nothing, but the gold points defend against.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Or well,
derpa
they
has...
make.
I was just
I
going to
would
say,
like-
derpa has to do more than just take 3 estates right now.
Yeah.
Because that only
Room for
ties.
silvers? What are they? Uh-oh. Seems worse. I would think you just sanctuary for the plus buy and then groom for silvers. Maybe I just have no idea what the silver count is, but if that would have scored you any points, that would have been really good.
They might have to take a tie now.
Yeah.
Maybe for the tie. Might
Look how good of a settlers this day mana is.
Dame Anna could trash Treasure of Significance. Like, what if it hits the gold? We'll never know.
No, that's true. I guess it could also hit Dame Josephine.
Yeah. I don't know if hitting a silver affects anything. I have no idea what the silver count is.
And that's why I don't like keep. Because in general, I just have no idea. I don't like sitting at the log for 5 minutes counting each of our treasure gains.
Oh, I love a good control F.
Alright, looks like we'll have a tie.
Yeah. I don't mind spamming Control F either. Alright, unless Copper does something. This is a tie. I mean, you might as well click on Copper.
Yeah.
Let's see what the final tally was in these keep points. Yeah, they absolutely had the win there and passed it up, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
They just had to groom for silvers.
No. Oh. Wait, but was the plus actions there for that? Because if you're not grooming for a state, you have to buy 2 estates.
Yeah,
And I thought the
sanctuary for plus buy, and then they mouse the stuff, play the conclave, play the last groom.
Oh, okay.
Or actually, maybe that, yeah, that I think that was. I have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure they like played the groom early, and then like prior to the sanctuary, and they were forced to play it for the state.
Okay.
Is that 6 games? I actually have not
Yep,
gotten
that's
started
it.
with what it is.
So that was a long set, 3.5 hours. Alright, well,
It was 2 at some point. What's the final score?
2.5, 3.5 in chesstick's favor.
Oh, it's a comeback.
Yeah, no, derpa won the first 2, and then chesstick took 3 straight. So
Good
good
balance.
mental mindset stuff to chesstick, not to get tilted and keep their cool, win a couple games when you're behind. Always like to see that. Alright, I am gonna go to sleep now.
Peace.
But it was
That
fun
sounds like a
commentating with
very
you
good
guys,
idea.
and I'll probably upload this tomorrow, because I'm tired. Thanks for
Yeah.
tuning in, everyone, and hopefully you had a good time, because I think we did.
Yeah, thanks.
See
Bye.
you around.